spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you? Spend some time. I don't know what was happening there, but hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen. And hey, hi, how you all doing? I had a really, really wet, slippery day.
Yeah, it stormed super crazy here today, and you might be wondering, where's Tommy Tombstone? Well,
He's not here.
he's not here tonight.
He's
So
bailing.
we are going to change the topic for today.
Yeah.
And instead of
Yep.
interviewing someone, we actually wanted to talk about something that has been happening in the paranormal world on the YouTubes as of late. And we just want to talk about it and
Yes, sir.
give you our opinion about what's going on.
Yeah. But first things first, I want to say those dweebs, Jenna, Nikki, Patricia, love you guys. What's up? Missed you guys since last Wednesday. Jenna, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the video coming? 11.
11. Investigation part is pretty much complete in the video creating process.
Yes.
We're just working on the front end and back end and working out all of
The kinky
other
poos.
details and perfecting sound and everything like that.
Yep.
So expect a thumbnail release very soon and probably a trailer.
Honestly,
next week or
probably,
two.
yeah, I'd say 2 weeks at the most is what I'm going to shoot for to have everything ready
Most
to
likely
go.
middle of August is what we're looking for a release date.
So, before we start getting on the topic of demons, does anybody in the chat want to join us tonight and talk about this demon stuff? After we get into it a little bit, we can add you to the stream, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Maybe Creepy Confidential wants to jump in and
Yep,
join us.
or even those dweebs.
Or yeah, those dweebs.
I'll say you guys are always in the chats. We love you. We always love talking. And since we don't have I guess you want to say like, not guaranteed, but like, this is our guest tonight. Why doesn't everybody be the guest? Because I don't know. I love talking about this stuff. But I guess we can go ahead and while you guys are figuring out chat stuff, and if you guys want to do it tonight or if you have the availability to, cool. But demons, this is a very hot topic right now.
Probably the hottest topic in the paranormal world is demons and skinwalkers. It seems like almost every YouTuber that is out there has somewhat used the name in a title or had it brought up in the video because of, the Spirit Talker app or the Obulus or whatever it may be.
Have you say,
demon.
yeah.
Like literally in our intro video, we have a voice saying I'm the devil.
I'm the devil.
So like, obviously we've had things happen that relate to it as well. But that I will tell you, that specific spirit at that location we know is a prankster and likes to use those terms.
Yeah, exactly.
To make you scared because that's literally what he's been known to do for like years at this cemetery, Nunica, right down the road from my house.
So, with that being said, my personal opinion is I think that there are entities that are the spiritual form that aren't, I don't want to say demonic per se, but like we don't know what's all on this earth. So who's to say that we don't know who or what it is that they're seeing, and it's not devil, demon, not anything like that. It could just be a malicious spirit of sorts. Like the concept of bringing this
biblical term
into the paranormal field, I always think is a little taboo for me.
A little taboo
because it's you're drawing two extremely different parallels together, where it's like if you look at religion, it's very linear, like be a good person, there is an afterlife, there is a hell for the bad, there is a heaven for the good. Then you look at the paranormal and it's like anywhere in between is what you would say when you draw the two parallels. But for me, if you take out the religion, well, that's exactly where everything already is, because we don't know where it is or what it is. So then there you go. There's your answer. Like, is it demonic? There might not even be such a thing. I just hate that it's such it's such a topic right now that it's like it's satanic panic is how I feel about it. Like that's exactly what I get vibes from.
Right. And again, we're not like shooting down anyone that's religious. You are entitled to your own beliefs and
Oh,
opinion.
by far, yeah.
100%.
I'm a talking head.
That's
It's all I am.
we look at it from a way is like neither of us go to church on Sundays. So like
I have, so like I understand the religious side of all of it too. So
we can't sit down and say, yes, this is a demon.
you're right, Jenna.
This is a devil. This is this or that. Because for me, it all comes down to what is a spirit? What is a ghost? Right?
Yes, that's the biggest essential question is what is a spirit? What is a ghost? What is the soul? What is it?
And it brings me back to how we interpret electric magnetic fields in this
It's all phenomena that has to do with electromagnetic waves and vibrations of the sort.
Thank you.
I know exactly where you were going with it.
Yeah. So how I just can't put some type of biblical physical entity
Yeah, it's such a
behind
moniker.
this thing that literally is just electric energy that floats through the air. That's my opinion on it, and that's how I feel about it.
Also, and I'm not bashing anybody that has had experiences like this because we've had experiences like this ourselves. What if some of these growls and grunts and like weird noises you hear aren't people's spirits? I'm sorry to say, it's totally possible that you're hearing an animal, another living creature that had a soul that walked this earth. Why don't they get to also have spirits that linger here? You know what I mean? Like I don't think people ever really play off that fact a lot, where it's everything is soul. Everything living has a soul. Why is it immediately like only humans walk around? Only ghosts are humans and devils are demons and demons can be ghosts too. Well, then why are we drawing the parallels and stopping there? I just don't get that.
Right. And it's like all of these places too that people say they've had demonic experiences.
I just
they
don't
almost
believe it.
all
I'm
have a
sorry.
story of a murder or a horrific death
Yeah. Yes.
from a bad person
traumatic event.
happening at this location. Demons. Thank you. What's going on? And like you're just calling a living human at one point who died a demon now because they can't stop themselves from doing harm to someone. They can't because that's all they did in real life.
Like all I can
that's
see,
it's really tough to like,
dude. It's just like I'm picturing in my brain nonstop is just like people running around going, "I'm a demon," I'm a demon. Like just nonstop, and it's like,
you know what it reminds me of? It's almost like the Salem witch trials.
Oh my god,
how they literally thought everyone
right.
who didn't believe in the Bible was a witch.
People were persecuting their neighbors because they didn't like them. Like, you're a witch. I see you have a familiar spirit, and it is living in the barn.
Something smelly coming from his house last night. It smelled smelly.
That is
must be a witch.
What those
Only
dweebs,
witch.
what she just said, literally perfect. Some sects of Christianity do not believe that animals have spirits. What kind of bullshit is that? I'm sorry. I'm gonna be like super hard on this one. That's bullshit. Yeah, I don't see how we can be like so exclusive just because it's a religion. And I'm not saying like we need to just bring it all back to religion because it's not even about that. But who's giving people permission to be like, all right, no. No.
Here is a little bit of information I bet not many people really know about. Someone recently told us who has worked with Zach Bagans and has met Zach Bagans that he himself does not believe in demigods. He doesn't believe in demons himself or any like skinwalker or anything like that. Yet you see him on TV
playing that up.
Yeah. And
it's such a weird thought to have
to this thing that it's just the word and the play that
it's the word. Yes, it's the word that everybody's hung up on.
Driving everyone to use it so that people watch their videos.
And I'm sorry, Like, this is probably gonna be one of the most offensive videos that we posted in a while. But all of the keyboard warriors that came out in droves, though, to like defend. It's nobody really knows. Like, we really don't know. And that's like the whole thing. We came back to the beginning of this because that's all we do is circles here. It's like, guys, why are we fighting when nobody has the answer? If you can't distinctly tell me that you're right, I'm not going to 100% believe it. And if I can't believe it, then who's fucking right?
No one in this industry of paranormal investigating or hobby, whatever you want to call it, can be right in this situation. We, matter of fact, this entire time could be 100% factually wrong, and someone could prove it to us one day. But it's just like saying Bigfoot isn't real.
I'm a leader on Bigfoot's dick too.
Aliens aren't real. It's like you literally, no one has the proof of either side of the argument.
It's all theory. It's literally like we're all Einstein. It's all relative theory here at this point. Like, we can all say like, I'm expert. I know what I say. Caveman words work. And ghost demon real.
It's demon is your boy.
I as stupid as I just sounded, it's literally how I feel about it. Where it's like, come on, like, ghosts and spirits can be whatever they want to be at this point. And I don't have the proof to back up that they're humans or not humans. I have proof to show you that I've seen a human spirit that I don't know how I've caught. And same with Riley. I've heard voices that I could not hear outside of being like, oh my God, nobody else was around me. Why did I just hear a voice? Nobody's here. Like, those are the things that I'm like, yeah, that's paranormal. But when we start going, demons are 100% factual. Demons are horned, goat hoofed, animal-like creatures that are malevolent beings that do nothing but eat your soul and prey upon the weak. Come on, now we're really getting movie quality here.
Right.
Like, as much as I want to say, like, bad things happen to good people and bad things do happen all the time, what's the driving force? We don't know.
And that's a good question too, because I know a lot of people that would probably bring up exorcisms.
Yeah.
There's real documented proof of exorcisms, like the
One of
Hillsdale
our
House
guests
and-
was a legit exorcist at one point in his life. And he said, I couldn't explain that. To me, that is a hardcore possession. But when you say demonic possession, yeah, now you changed everything. Who's to say that we can't be affected by a very mean person or a terrible, terrible person?
And what are they gonna do most likely if you're antagonizing them and doing all of this stuff? They're probably gonna play along with it.
And for the people that are like, they got superhuman strength, they had this and that. Well, adrenaline works in crazy ways, for one. Two, if you're speaking other languages that you don't know and you are being possessed by a spirit that was of another culture and spoke another language, yeah, I could see that happening. And not only that, for your vocal cords and people saying, oh, they changed so drastically. I don't know how factual this is, but I have heard that, like, when you strain your vocal cords or like when you like are trying to like make them change and like that, like any type of damage or stuff like that will change the range that you're able to hit. Or like, you know what I mean? Like any way that you affect it, like externally or internally, will play on that pitch and range you can hit. So it's like, there's logic in all of it, but there's also not logic in seeing and hearing spirits that are really there, because that's really happening too. Like, as much as I want to say demons aren't happening, I don't fucking know. It could actually be demons. I don't fucking know.
See, for me, it's just I just can't believe in demons. I'm sorry.
Like,
if anyone feels any way, like type of way
every
about
pore
me
in my
because of
body
that,
says
like,
demons.
I literally
No.
just cannot believe that. Like, if you knew me as a real person, you would be like, yeah, that makes sense, Riley. There's no way he would ever believe in demons.
Skinwalkers and Wendigos are completely different to me, because that is, it's not a demon per se. It is 100% what the Native Americans saw as a bad spirit, which, they didn't call it a demon. What do you know? It's not a demon. It's a skinwalker, because that has the classification for what it actually is, which I really think that the waters have gotten so muddy this past year, like Riley was telling me
Let's
earlier.
also not forget what the actual legend of a skinwalker is, and that is someone who kills their entire family
And eats them for power.
for power.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. Like there's that.
So, and like for me, I just think the skinwalker thing is more of a boogeyman tale than it is a like demonic creature of
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm sure a lot of our fellow investigators in the chat too, and people that are gonna watch this, if you have gone in an investigation, if you felt affected at all, you're not being affected by a demon, most likely.
A very strong
What's
spirit.
happening is, yeah, it's like if you take two magnets and you put them really close to each other, they're gonna shoot away, right? Well, there's also like the same like logic applies to like, well, if you take two things and you put them together, like you create a new substance. Well, what happens when you take a really highly charged spirit and you have a highly open person that is
willing to accept
yeah,
that energy.
exactly, and then you put them together. Yeah, you're gonna get affected, and there's no legit rhyme or reason for how or why or what happens when this happens, but it does. That's the thing too, is it really does happen. Because I mean, me and Riley both have experienced this ourselves.
Yeah, I've like I've said before, in bottom of a tunnel, I basically lost my breath
tunnel.
and I couldn't breathe anymore, and I knew that wasn't me just
Yeah, it's
forgetting
not.
how to breathe. It was literally a spirit that had so much energy and was using so much energy to try to communicate with me that it impressed its own emotions onto me.
Yeah, or oppression. Thank you for saying that, because you literally just opened up another path for my brain. Oppression is a big thing for me, where it's like you don't necessarily need to be like affected to feel that presence. Like if somebody walks in a room and they're big and foreboding, and you know, like they give off that like macho vibe, like you're gonna like feel a different way when you look at them rather than when you look at somebody like me or Riley, where we give off like more, I guess, like not intimidating vibes. So like, what's to say that you walk into a room where a spirit's standing, you don't see it, but it's there, and you get that heavy pressure, that heavy feeling? It's because it's like it happens in real life every day to people. Like you might not realize it, but if you pay attention, you'll see and feel it.
That's good. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, to me, it's
I
happened
feel
before.
like any room that you go into where other people are involved, the room's going to have some type of energy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's going good and everyone's having, say you're at dinner. Okay. We'll
Okay.
just put this in a scenario. here.
Hypotheticals.
You're sitting at dinner. You're having a very nice dinner. The restaurant seems to be everyone's enjoying their time, right?
Yeah.
Takes one person or one table, we'll say table,
Yeah.
to change the mood of the entire room. So, okay, one table far to the left, you're eating out of the corner of your eye, see someone get up and it's like pointing, and like you start hearing the raised voice over everyone else's voices. The entire restaurant is probably going to stop talking and change and go. The entire thing is, everyone's mood is going to change from having a good time to concern.
This is literally this is me at every restaurant when something happens. Shit. Okay, well, that just happened. That was so not planned,
but like
that hurt.
The same thing goes for if like a spirit with negative energy attached to it comes into a room, it's going to be the same type of feel. You're going to feel that change if you're willing to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot believe I just fell out of that chair. I do believe that like people that do accept spirits and they're not like completely brash against it, like it's like if you walk up to somebody and you say like, "Fuck you, I don't want to talk to you." Then I'm gonna walk away. Like I don't want to deal with that. But like if you walk into a room and you go, "Hey, how's everybody going? Like, how's everybody going? How's everybody doing? My name's Trevor." Like, yeah, I think people would be more inviting at that point. Guys, I'm sweating. Flipping so hard. I was like, that was scary. It made such a loud sound.
I was kind of scared myself.
Dude, I thought
Did you see how the energy in the room changed when that
Such an example. No, but I mean, like, and it's not, I'm not to yuck anybody's yum here, because like I don't know.
Yum.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in demons or not, because honestly, like, you could sway me either way. If somebody gave me evidence right now, well, but do you think you could? If somebody showed you evidence of something that was honest to God, I guess demonic, and I don't know how to like. What would be the deciding factor for me?
Exactly.
You know, now that you say that too, it's like, what would be the deciding factor? Like, does it have to have horns?
I literally need to see where's my. I don't know where my mask is.
Like,
but I
does it
literally
need to be
see
red? A pitchfork?
physical demon in front of me that says, "I am a demon from hell." That's what I need to prove it to me.
See, but then like, I guess we can go a little bit farther. Like, where is hell? Like, what
even is hell? I don't even believe in heaven or hell. So like,
if we're gonna get into that topic,
the demonic thing, like when we say that, we are skeptics.
Yeah.
I literally mean that I am a skeptic. Yes, I believe in ghosts, but I'm not the kind of person that's go, that's paranormal. Even when we're investigating,
we usually go, you're an idiot.
Things will excite me, but I'm not always 100%.
Like a good example, a really good example right now would be the Asher Walton house. Me and Riley were so warm in there, and me and Jenna were hot and like yelling at each other for part of it. We were both like, I don't think we caught like anything, man. And then Riley texts me like a couple days after when he starts working on the investigation part of the video, and he goes, "Holy shit, dude, we caught way more than I thought." And it's like, oh God, like you really don't notice it when it's happening. You really don't.
Yeah, especially when you're under the effects of the weather and everything else that's going on. Like,
yeah,
it can be really hard to decide what's actually happening.
Agreed. I agree with that. And like,
but like, I didn't feel anything negative.
No, that exactly.
It actually was one of the most inviting houses I've ever been in my life. Like,
if it wasn't so hot, we were gonna be in every different room of the house sleeping.
You may have seen our photo on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. Shout out Clayton for commenting this. But we literally had the dogs out in the house for the entire investigation.
Dude, Clayton, that was an all-time comment though. The dogs out. Let them dogs out. And if you guys don't understand what we mean, we walked into the Asher house and we said, do we take our shoes off? We're in a mansion. And Keith, the awesome Paranormal Dares investigator that helps run the Asher, he goes, I mean, you can if you want. Like, nobody said you had to. So we just took our shoes and socks off and we're like, it's our house tonight.
Literally just got right into home.
Yeah, but what Jenna just said is actually a really good point. When it did get darker, you could feel the energy shift to more of like this like weird, energized tone. Is probably the best way that I can explain it. So
it was weird.
Yeah, weird is probably the best way to explain it. It was just like an electricity was in the air, but it was also like
when we got there, it was
Poopgate 23.
Like, it was people. There was a lot going on inside of us.
Stop it. We're not going there.
But no. Seriously though, Keith gave us the tour, right? And it just felt like going to someone's house.
Yeah, we were just hanging out with Keith in his house. Is really what it felt like, which was awesome because it's like, dude, this place is sweet as hell.
We had a tour. We got literally just took over the house.
Did you just get lost in the Matrix hole? You just got so quiet. I was like, what?
I was like, what are you talking? I don't understand that.
Keith said the house loved it, but it missed us. Oh, a storm. Okay.
Yeah, I literally was reading them. Like,
dude, you went like like sparks and everything.
I thought you were saying the house missed us. And I was like,
no. Also, Jenna, I see you live on that TikTok over there. Go hit at least 1,000 likes for me.
Yeah, we're just hyping up the Asher Walton video today too. By the way, that's part of our plan.
We're literally just hanging out, guys. As you can't tell, if there's anything you guys want to talk about specifically too, just throw it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Yeah, because I mean, like honestly, we can talk about anything.
We got the W going.
The W. I'm so excited for the Asher video. Like the only thing that I looked at Riley today and I was like, I'm sorry. I just found out we have the whole video that we were live on TikTok, and I found the outro video that was not in the files that I needed to give to him before. Oh yeah, Riley was definitely buffering.
I was.
I mean, that's technology every time I do anything. Also, does anybody understand the algorithm for how TikTok Live works and why we only get one fucking viewer? I don't understand it. I'm not doing anything wrong. But that's besides the point. So I guess another thing that I want to talk about a little bit.
We were talking about how the vibe changed at the Asher.
Yeah, I'll say another thing about that's why I wanted to get to. Yeah.
Let me explain what happened. So after the tour, we basically made ourselves at home, took our shoes and socks off, and ran around the house barefoot and screaming, having a good time.
Pretty much, we're just living our best lives. Took my
Yeah.
shirt off.
We're
Was like, bro, we're
literally
living
have never lived in a house for a day that is
a
this big
haunted house at that.
and happens to be haunted as fuck. But
And fuck.
we headed outside because it was hot. We'd been in the house for like an hour and a half.
Stagnant
It
heat
was
at
super
that.
hot. So we decided to go chill and figure out what we were gonna do for dinner. And we chilled for probably like a half hour or so, and it started to get dark. And we just went into the house. I think the pizza had got there, right?
Yeah.
We went into the house.
We got pizza.
And as soon as we walked in, as the house got darker inside, it just, the best way to explain it is weird,
Weird.
but it was like this.
Not
spirit,
ominous.
It was like they're awake now.
Yeah,
the
like
spirits
everybody's
were
here.
Not there during the day.
Do you want to hear my
It got
theory?
dark and it was like everyone showed
Dude,
up.
I was just gonna say, do you want to hear my theory? They were around in the 1800s. What do you do in the 1800s? Not fucking stay inside. You go play. You go walk around town. Indiana, like where that town is, it's small. It's rural. It's
like they weren't home.
homey. Everybody was probably out on the town that day. And if it's like a residual thing, which I don't think it's residual hauntings that are happening there, I do think it's intelligent. But when you come home about the time that I would think that the streetlights would come on. I don't even know if they had streetlights back then because I'm an idiot. But when the lights, like the moon comes out and the sun goes down, that's when they all came home. That's when we started getting the children. That's when we started getting like I want to say Julia came through it once too. And honestly, when we got the voice that came through on the spirit box, the one that me and you freaked out about, I think we 100% caught Mr. Asher saying it to Julia. I really do.
Yeah. So we're not going to spoil exactly what was said.
No, but you can keep that nugget.
But just know that we caught a very intimate conversation between Asher Walton and Julia.
What we believe, allegedly. I love allegedly, but I really do think so because it was one of the cleanest like spirit box voices I've ever heard come through, and it was louder than any of the stations
multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. He nailed it right there. What I was gonna say too. It's like every time we got that voice come through, it was clean, crisp, clear, and loud. And it's like, wow.
We also, for the first time, I will say this, we did capture legit children voices.
Yes,
like, you can tell that they are legit. And the one that we caught, I'm not even 100% sure it actually came out of the spirit box.
I also think I saw my first shadow figure.
So,
and like, I'll just drop that little nugget there too. I think I said that last week, honestly. But yeah, I'm 100% sure once we started getting all the activity like we were and we caught the children's voices, I'm pretty sure I saw one of the children's shadows going into one of the doorways to one of the children's rooms. That was pretty cool. Even with our own ears, Jenna.
Even with our own ears. I heard it with my own ears.
What did I say while we were at the Asher that I was like super redundant and stupid too? There was something that was just like, did you just hear yourself talk, you idiot? I don't remember what I said though.
I don't know, but I sent something to Trevor that Jenna said that's absolutely
oh my
hilarious.
God, she had me play it back and was like, what? Like, she wasn't mad, but I do love your ear balls. You got to keep your ear balls open.
Iowan.
Iowan. I'm from Iowan. Oh, she's gonna hate us.
She's gonna hate us for that,
absolutely
but it's literally
fucking
gonna be
hate us.
immortalized in a video. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, that TikTok live though was so much fun to do, and like I guess it doesn't really matter if we tell you how many views it got. It got 3,000 views while we were live there, which is more views on anything that we've ever gotten on one single video, and it was like gas pedal when we started. Yeah. So it was awesome.
So literally, it got dark in there, and shit just went
boom. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to bring everybody to. So like, this is probably another good way to like, just drop this in there. Riley's account, What Goes Bump Pod, his TikTok, our main TikTok channel, because that sloth boy, the one that you see going live, that's my personal account. The one that we also want to get is What Goes Bump Pod's TikTok to 1,000 followers as well. So Riley can do the same thing. So we can have multiple people going live in the same locations. So like, tell your friends.
Yeah. We're sorry we didn't do the duck game too. We got too tired.
I'm not even joking when I say the humidity level had to have been at least 90%. And it was at least 89 degrees in the house itself. Stagnant heat.
You'll see in the video that
everybody was glistening.
Yeah.
And like me and Jenna literally got into like a little cat scratching, like meh, meh. I think it was even on the live because
was on the
we were
live.
both so hot and fed up with all the bullshit that we were just like, I just want to cool off. And then I walked downstairs and I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't really push you that hard. I didn't mean to push you. Okay, I'm mad. I'm hot. Feels nice out here. Okay, I'm cooling off. I'm feeling less angry. That's how I felt too. So it's like,
And
yeah.
a little insight because it won't be in the video.
We
We literally all slept in like a cuddle
Oh,
puddle
100%. We're like,
and
yo,
had every single fan in the house turned on us, and we slept underneath the dining room table because it was the coldest room in the house.
I literally didn't even have a blanket over me for like half the night. I looked at Jenna. I looked at the door where a face is said to like poke through and look at people. And I was like, come get me, you boys. Completely demon blanket free. Come get your boy.
Yeah,
We
we were
went to
literally
bed.
inviting the ghosts to come sleep with us.
I told him I wanted the spoon, and nobody spooned with me except for Jenna. So I do want to go back to the Asher. I do think it would be more fun in the fall and the winter time. I
I think summer,
definitely
it's just all about what you get the weather day.
I was just gonna say that. I do think in the wintertime, especially since like if my theory is correct, where it's like time of year has a big factor on what's happening inside of the house at what times. Yeah, if we go in the wintertime, we might have activity the whole time we're there from start to finish. Because once we woke up, it was quiet.
It
We
literally
walked
felt
around, it was
like
quiet.
it did the day before.
It did the whole day night cycle where the nighttime was like
It did die down though. It did, like, eventually
the loneliest.
the spirits just kind of stopped talking to us.
I
Like, we
honestly
tired them out.
it's batteries, dude. Like the spirits are like batteries. They get charged and decharged when you use them, and we used them pretty good. As fucked up as that sounds.
I think because we did have some,
Oh,
I guess you could say
man.
it was poltergeist, but it's not. I don't really
No,
know.
dude, I definitely think that was poltergeist activity. We were literally just talking about how we are going to investigate in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden that flies off. It doesn't fly off like as crazy as we make it out to seem, but like you can almost see it like bobble for a second and then it goes forward. So it's like interesting. I don't think wind does that.
We will definitely eventually head back there for sure.
I think
Patricia.
we have our next location in the crosshairs, but we are trying to lock down the date, and that way we can get his woman Ashley to make her debut on the channel and help us investigate with that one. And it's all about timing for work and everything at this
Yeah,
point. So
you didn't
that's the
know
biggest thing.
My girlfriend is just as into this stuff as we are.
Yep.
So we're trying to get her to debut on the channel and investigate with us and do her first investigation because I think that would be really interesting having someone that's
Having
never
two
done this
females
before.
also, as I know this is gonna sound
Two females
sexist, I
too,
do
for
think that
sure.
it helps with dynamics of spirits too, because like having an almost all male cast at certain places where there's just male spirits speaking back to you, I think that can be kind of detrimental sometimes. Because I mean, like people want to
Think
talk
about
to
it.
other sexes.
Back in the day too, like a woman's just not going to talk to some random guy.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, like and I guess this goes like into a little bit more of like spirits also, we don't know if they're shy or not. We don't know if people were shy when they were alive. Like me and Riley are very outgoing, so we'll go up to pretty much anybody and say whatever we feel like. And it's not even a problem for us. But other people have problems with that. Anxiety is a real thing. And not to say that, like spirits have anxiety, but like I don't think they lose that trait.
I think they were talking to you, Jenna. They just like using the Spirit Talker app with
I
you.
do think that. I love the Spirit Talker app. Like I know homie was in the chat earlier. It is such a great app. It works fantastically. We have had multiple occasions now on multiple
Spy
investigations.
Ghost.
Yes, my man, Spotted Ghost. Where we've had real evidence come through on Spirit Talker. And
Again,
then
we get some very compelling stuff in this video.
yeah, and then show up on other devices. And then you go, it's not coincidence, people. It just isn't. I'm not.
We have a first on the Spirit Talker app as well.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? I forgot about that.
Like it is like so personal. Actually, two things that are super personal.
The first time that it's ever happened to either of us, to be realized, like for the Spirit Box session where what happened to me when I was under, and then for what happened to you on the Spirit Talker app, where I've never seen it come through the way it did in the regard it did.
Gosh, I just can't wait for you guys to see this
I
video.
know. I think
literally so much cool
that
stuff
is going to be
going on
gas
in it.
pedal, I think, from after here on tonight to get this video done and out to you guys, because I really just want to move on to the next one. Honest to God, it's like as much as we're hyping it up and we talk about it all the time and how much fun it was and how awesome this video is going to be, it's like I want to make the next one even better. Like better, bigger, better. Because we did find out that we had a few technical hiccups while we were there. My camera night vision microphone is fucking ass.
Terrible.
It's
Couldn't even use it.
terrible. The audio quality sounds like you went like, I'm here. Do you guys want to talk to me? I'm sorry for everybody that had to hear that. No, it was really bad though. Like to the point to where I'm considering taking another camera that has better audio quality and doing night vision sessions with a quality with a camera that's just recording black. You know what I mean? So like there you get the audio quality, but you get everything else.
Paranormal Papa
My
in the chat.
Does Paranormal Papa want to like jump on and talk with us? Like we asked earlier, but my man's Drew. Realistically, if you want to join us on this live stream and talk about some stuff, whatnot, everybody else doesn't have their faces on or isn't ready, but we would love to, just like chit chat for a while since we've been going at it for 45 minutes talking about diamonds and other random bullshit.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion about diamonds again.
I realistically will go right back into the demons talk if we can get somebody else's opinion where they're like, no, demons are real. This is why. Because convince me that I'm just gonna start telling people this wherever I come to a junction where somebody's like, hey, like, how do you feel about demons and paranormal?
I know what we could do.
And I'm gonna
Keep
be like,
them occupied while I pull
convince
this
me,
up.
guys. Just convince me. Because realistically, at this point, my mind can be swayed every which way. Like, I feel like I'm that like amoeba where it's like I'll just take in all the information, but at the end of the day, I'm going to still make my own informed decision. That's absolutely how you should. Why did you pull up Project Fear? And the first thing they said was demonic.
Scare factor.
That's actually really funny. So if you didn't know, he was just pulling up a video. I think that he's going to share it to the screen, right? Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk
So
about
we're
this
getting there.
because this is kind of why I wanted to talk about this.
That's
'Cause
actually a
it's
good
been
point.
on my mind for a little bit.
I
It's
think this is
whole
how we
scene.
got into a big reason why we wanted to talk about demons today is because it's like platforms like Project Fear's page have such a big reach that it's like, is it
I mean, we're talking 312 views in a week.
12K?
Yeah, 312,000, sorry, total views and 24,000 likes. And
Probably
obviously they have a huge
1,000
following too,
naysayers.
but
I say, demons, no. I like how you just immediately liked it.
I thought I did already.
All right,
Okay.
pull it up. I got my face on, but nothing else. You may lose viewers. Please and thank you. I will take every inch of that. All right, pull it up, and then Paranormal Papa, if you want to get ready, yo.
So we're just gonna play this clip here because this is what they're saying is a demon.
You want to just take some pictures, as many as you can, down this hallway?
We'll set up a wide camera. We'll take some photos.
We know the tall man is up here. We caught you last time. Can you walk in front of this flashing light here?
And
I want to see if you're still up here.
Phone. That's how we caught the same type of evidence with our phone.
We'll be able to see you on these pictures. All right. So we just took a bunch of pictures. Chelsea's going to look through them and see if we got anything. Let's check these out. All right.
Is it like clear as day or is it not?
You'll see.
Because I honestly don't know.
What?
No, I haven't watched
Wait.
it.
What the hell?
Oh, it looks like there's like a.
That's actually weird.
Is that not in the other one?
Why does that immediately?
No. Okay, so basically, hallway. But then this.
Yo.
What is that?
Dude, that's like a
The
white.
shape of a head.
Okay. So what
Head
they
level.
end up doing here is they change it to black and white and do some things to the contrast, and they end up flipping it over, and it looks like a face.
But they manipulated the photo so far at that point that you can say matrixing is a thing at that point.
That's what I thought is it's matrixing, and it's just some
Because
weird.
it is, that's
like,
an
shadow.
anomaly. I'm not saying that's not. That's 100% anomaly. But to say that's a dynamic anomaly face when you flip it and it completely changed what the actual original image is, like, no. We shouldn't be doing that. That's misinformation.
Like
Translucent.
tinted mist. Hold on.
Yeah, well, like,
Wait, is there?
a fucking goat
There's
man
literally
walking down
nothing-
the hallway at them?
No, I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
it's not in
mine.
any other
Okay, I'll believe
photo.
you.
It almost looks like it's connecting a little bit to the ceiling. Do you see that?
Dude, yeah, like right in here.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like crawling.
Spirits can
That's
flow.
like exactly like the black. It was just black. The last one that we got.
Black though. This is white.
That's so weird.
Come in.
You cannot tell me that is not
We're
the
getting you in,
creepiest.
Papa.
That's definitely like I
For real, guys.
see
Like,
what
I
you're
love
saying though,
Project
because
Blue.
like
I
there's
love
like
Dakota, I love
little
Tanner, I
parts
love
of it
Chelsea,
like
I love all of them.
connecting
They're all
up to the
great
ceiling.
messengers. They all are awesome at what they do.
Dude, that's a fucking
I don't
face.
know if it's
Oh my god, dude.
Upside down. Like,
Hold on,
like
let
a
me zoom in on this.
He's getting it. I mean, come on. I don't even really see
That looks like a
it.
monster.
Yeah. Do you see that
maybe
eye?
eyes.
Mouth, nose, mouth. Like,
But
dude,
not
that looks
human.
like a
We don't
monster.
know
Like an alien looking.
Spirits
Zoom in on
will,
this.
Like, pop out as, though, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I do see a
I
head.
do see something.
It looks
there,
like an
yeah.
alien a little bit, or like Dobby.
Yeah. Did you send him the link?
I'm working.
Oh, you're working on it. Sorry. I was just looking.
I gotta get
It does look like Dobby to me. But the thing is, like, I'll use the cursor, like, to point it out. Like, that does look like an eye. That looks like an eye socket, too. That could be a mouth where this line is. But realistically, like, demon? That looks like a human face. And who's to say we don't get superpowers when we die? I'm just saying, as spirits, we can float, we can do all that. And damn it, Dobby wants to be a free elf. And we all know Dobby can like fucking suck himself into like a transport hole and like fucking do that crazy shit in his weird port key thing. But I mean, I don't like that these bigger streamers and a lot of these other YouTubers are just putting demon on their post because it's doing well. And I don't want to say that's what's happening, but like it really kind of looks like it.
And some people might call us hypocrites because we
We
that
are.
whole scene in our trailer where it says demon and like a pan to it, and then like.
But I think it's more ironic when we get stuff like that because, like, me and Riley were literally just saying at the beginning of this, like, we don't necessarily believe in demons. We think malicious spirits are real.
But if you actually watch the real video, you hear my next question, and it was literally, should I be scared of the demon?
Yeah, where it's like I don't really put a ton of stock in like demon when I get things that say demons and demonic things.
Like you said, I literally need like a goat man in front of me trying to rip my soul out.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I
I
need.
100% need somebody to like realistically just be like, hey, I have the proof, and then show me the proof. And then I'm still probably going to be like, I don't know. Like your proof, my proof is different. Like if I'm drinking like 100 proof fucking vodka and you're drinking like 40 proof, yeah, there's a big difference. Like I'm drinking that straight raw. Like, I want the gasoline. And you guys are over here like watering it down. Like, look at this very chipper ghost friend I got here. His name is Demon. Like, I'm sorry. As funny as it sounds, as humorous as we make it, yeah, it's probably the best word that I could use. But it's so hard. It's hard, guys.
I guess so what Keith told us, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but
I mean, it was his personal opinion too, wasn't it?
he doesn't like when people come to his property and then turn around and promote it as something demonic.
Yeah,
at his
I
place,
wouldn't like that.
because he feels like it does hurt his business and it puts a bad name on the town.
Yeah, because you're when you start putting that stigma to places, not knowing if it is or isn't, you're going to give it publicity, whether that be good or bad, and we don't know what one that is because everybody looks at it differently.
Like, the one thing that I fear is like people coming to the house
Closing down places
and
because of
doing
it.
some type of occult ritual inside of the house and like
Yeah.
basically you're feeding the place up. So like that's my fear with it, especially with like a lot of these places that are a lot bigger and it's a lot easier for people to break in.
That's true too. I didn't think about that part.
'Cause
Oh,
people do that.
paranormal pop.
Paranormal Papa.
My papa.
Welcome
My
to the
paranormal
stream.
papa.
What's
You are
up, guys?
You are OG for jumping in late last minute like this. We love you. All right. So you probably caught the tail end of what we were talking about, but how you feel about Damons? About how everybody's talking about Damons in the videos and Damons this and Damons
Demon's
that.
got the mom.
Hey,
Demon's got the dad. Demon's got the children.
You know, it's really kind of funny that you mentioned that because the wife and I just got done watching the first 6 episodes of the new season of Ghost Adventures.
Don't tell me it's
And
all Damon.
And well, we all know that whenever he walks into a house or walks into a business or something like that, oh well, this person's had physical contact before. It must be a demon. And it's like, no, it must not be a demon. It must be somebody that's really, really pissed off. But that don't mean it's a demon, you dumbass.
Yep. I'm glad that we're not the only ones that think about this, because like this has been heavy on us for the week, where it's like with the Project Fear video that released, you know, because that's really what's popular right now, is everybody knows Project Fear, at least around the paranormal fields.
They're the new rock stars.
They're exactly. And of course they post about the demon stuff, and I'm not even joking when I say I think every paranormal video that I've seen from every smaller YouTube channel and things that get on pages for me now that are like for you stuff, it has titles of demons, almost every other one. And it's like, guys, it's Satanic Panic.
And I noticed that a lot on YouTube. You know, I'll start going through some of the different channels and their investigations, and I was touched by a demon. We scared up a demon. It's like, come on, seriously?
Even
I mean,
our AI bot
it's
thing was
much
telling
like
us to
Danny
keep
has
demons.
said. You know, Danny
Yeah.
has said it many, many times. Danny, guys, is the head of Southern Michigan Paranormals. He also is the lead for the Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition, for the Great Lakes Burn Camp. Danny Holroyd. He also is the host of the Ghostoramas here in Michigan. And he has said many times, just because there's bad contact or a dark feeling or something, or you get scratched or something's thrown at you or something says get out or something, it doesn't necessarily have to be a demon. Some people were just assholes in life, and they've continued to be assholes in death.
That's exactly.
I think that sticks true always and forever from here on out. That's for sure. Cause man, I'm on that train that me and Riley were just saying too. Like, it's gonna take some convincing, and if you have the proof to convince me, like you could probably convince me. But it's going to take a lot.
No, and I don't know how many investigations that we've been on, you know, my team, where we have heard devil, demon, Diablo, Satan, things like that. And I think what we're picking up a lot of times is if a spirit doesn't want to communicate with you, they were people, for God's sakes. So, yeah. People don't want to be bothered in life. They probably don't want to be bothered in death. Dweeb said it best right there.
Yeah,
and
they did.
They think back to when they were alive. What was the one thing that scared the hell out of them? A demon, the devil,
exactly.
Satan's
it's
coming.
The whole Salem witch trial thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, do you think that you could be swayed if somebody were to propose to you this evidence that was like, here's a spirit, it's not a human spirit, but it is some type of malicious entity that is of spiritual form? Are we going to classify that as a demon, or are we going to say that's just a spirit that we don't know what it is?
If somebody could actually provide me the evidence, if they could show me, I mean, if this thing straight up said in an EVP, I was never human. I come from the underworld. Whatever the case may be. If you could show me proof that it is actually a demon and not just an angry spirit or a confused spirit or a spirit that don't want to be bothered, then yes, I might tend to believe that a little bit. But
Right.
going into somebody's home and saying, "Oh, you've had physical contact. Oh, this thing has pulled your daughter's blankets off of her at night, or this thing has attacked your children. It must be a demon." No, you've got to look back in the history of your home, look back in the history of the land
Yeah.
it's built on,
It's
look
just
back in the history of the
misinformation at
land
that
around.
point.
Yeah, yeah, and you're instilling fear in these people. Oh my God, I have a demon in my home. Please help me get it out. Call a priest. Exorcise my
No, you
home.
have a pervert
It
in
makes
your
me
room.
really, really want to find a demonologist and talk to them and pick their brain on it and why they believe demons
Yeah,
are actually
I'm no
real.
expert. Yeah, I don't claim to be an expert on demonology or like anything of the sort, but it just seems really weird to me that like we have this place, heaven and hell, and then we have this spiritual realm where spirits can walk the earth. Well, what when did we get there? Who made
Also,
that?
why is it only one group of people can decide if an exorcism should be done or not? Why does every priest have to go to the Vatican to get approval to do an exorcism?
To me, it's like somebody misclassified this, where it's like heaven and hell and spiritual realms, they're all one big thing. Maybe that is what happens after we die, is we all go to the spiritual realm, and it's heaven and hell combined, and it's all bad and good people, and we're all actually still here, but not here at the same time. I know it sounds weird when you say it like that, but it's a concept that's like, I don't think it's that weird.
I've actually got a much simpler explanation of heaven and hell. If you follow modern religion, I know some do, some don't, but I think the second coming has already come and gone. I think that this is hell, and because they always say that you're born into sin and then you earn your way into heaven. So I tend to with all the nasty things going on in the world today, I tend to look at this as a form of hell, and the achievement of
Right.
finally passing on and leaving this behind is your heaven.
Shit, that's not a bad concept, honestly.
It's not, because through life you go through many trials and tribulations of figuring
Yeah.
out who you are, how you're going to stay true or not true to
Yep.
the soul. And
I mean, realistically, like if you look at your life on like a linear path, it's basically like walking on hot coals. You start on a landing pad where there's no hot coals, and you're just starting out, and you're like, oh, this
literally
is
can't even
nice.
fend for yourself.
And
or
then when
anything.
you take the plunge into adulthood, you're stepping into those hot coals, and then you walk those hot coals until eventually you step off the path and you leave, and you're off this mortal coil.
Yeah.
Well, and I
So,
mean, if you sit and you think about it, look at the trials
Yeah.
that we go through in life. You have that trial of being a good person or being a bad person growing up. Then when you finally do grow up, you meet somebody. Okay, now do you stay loyal to that person, or do you wonder? Do you work your way through the problems of a marriage, or do you get a divorce?
Right.
Do you live your adult life as a good person who will give their shirt to a neighbor that needs help, or will you give your time to someone who needs it, or give the food out that you've worked hard to bring into your home to somebody who needs it, or are you going to take and be a bad person? So I mean, you constantly
Yeah.
from the time we're children to the time we die, are you going to be a good parent? Are you going to yell at your kids and beat them? Are you going to be a good neighbor? Or are you going to start fights with your dad? I mean, from the time we're children to the time we die, we go through constant trials and tribulations. And I really honestly think, being an almighty higher power, God is sitting somewhere with one of those little boards up on the wall, and he's either putting smiley faces or frowny faces on it. and it's like, okay, he's done pretty good in his life. He's only fucked up a couple times. Yeah, we'll let him in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this whole adulting thing is bullshit. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I'm on a good person, bad person kick right now. I've been working for 4 days around my job.
Oh no.
We had a member of our work crew on Saturday night that actually put. They were in a bit of a rush. Put 2 baskets of fries down. The oil exploded, went all over the floor,
Oh no.
and he fell in it.
Oh,
So he's
oh,
in
God.
Indianapolis right now with second, third degree burns over 70% of his body and in a coma right now.
Oh my God.
They called me up to cover all of mine and his shifts for the week. So
oof.
I'm on my fourth
terrible
day now,
circumstances
and
too. Fuck.
yeah, it was terrible. I heard that he kind of started moving around yesterday a little bit, but then he
I mean,
went
that's
right back
good.
to sleep again. And I'm
Ugh,
sure it's
I
probably a
hate to hear
medical
that.
induced coma because, you know, when you're bandaged up, every time you smile or you move or you
70%.
look,
It's slowly
you've
burn.
got those blisters under the bandages that are going to pull and cause pain. So I'm pretty sure it's a medically induced coma.
That's why I want to say, like, everybody that's on the front lines and that is doing like food prep or any type of like customer service related job, you guys are the real ones. It takes a whole army of people to make the world go around, and you guys are appreciated more
Thanks,
than you
dog.
know.
I appreciate that.
Because
And
that's
now-
crazy. And like, homie was literally just doing his job. That sucks.
Yeah, and you know, all I have to worry about now is pizza. So you know, all I got to worry about is dropping a hot pizza on my lap or something. But
Yeah, so it's not as bad, but still, you're part of the cog that makes the whole world go round. As much as it sucks, because I don't want to be part of the cog.
yeah, you
I
know,
just-
the
oh, God.
cog sucks.
I want
But
your
yeah, I
honest.
just for 3 days now, I've been researching and working on my own version of a review of the Jason Aldean song that's been getting all the controversy. And
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that come in my town or whatever.
I call it,
Oh,
try
yeah,
that, try that in a small town.
on the radio.
And
Yep.
I actually done Drew's reviews, reaction, and opinion. Jason Aldean's Try This in a Small Town. And believe me, I get into a little bit of history. I actually had to cut some of it out because some of it was just, I know I would have got like really
Right.
demonetized for it. So
Yeah, we always say like eventually we're gonna say something that somebody's not gonna like and they're gonna flag us for it. But I mean, eventually we'll get there. I don't know, who knows. But realistically, like
well, you know,
I do like that controversial stuff. Like that topic is a hot one right now, and it's everywhere. And it's not like it's super taboo to talk about it because it's like everybody holds their own opinions on stuff. Why do we have to hate each other for having an opinion?
Right, especially in an age where we're literally so free to express our own mind. And one moment how we feel is not how we feel 10 minutes later.
I flip flop on the demon thing for like the past fucking hour.
Literally for the past week, this has been in my mind, and I can't fucking figure out if it's like a good thing for the paranormal community to keep using these types of words, or it's a bad thing.
I
And
know.
it's just going to
I
ruin
know.
everything that we're trying to
Because
prove.
that's the flip side to it too. Because like the good thing that it could bring is more publicity to the paranormal field and to these places where like I guess like the Joliet prison is a good one because Blood Moon that's his baby. And the fact that that's where Project Fear just was, and then they used demonic in it, and it's like it was on the verge of being closed down before that. But on the flip side, 300,000 people just watched a video about that location.
Yep.
So is it that bad? That's the
But then it
hardest
goes
thing.
down. Then you have to think about the religious views of the people who own it.
That too.
Like you
I
have
didn't
to
think
take
about that.
all of these things into account, and on top of that, whether this person is using it all the money to keep the place restored, or if they're using it as financial income to support their own lives.
That's the
like
thing,
you end
dude.
up affecting it either. It could be good or it could be bad, depending on how they feel about it.
And see, that's another hot button issue with the paranormal community is you have these people that might own a location or two Maybe they had them moved from one location to another location so
Right.
these things could be together. You know, like Fulton County Historical Society in Rochester, Indiana, have got like 7 or 8 old historic buildings from all over the county that they moved onto
Yeah.
their land and set up their own little town. I'd love to get in there and do a weekend
I know.
in that place. Especially in like the old doctor's office, because back when this thing was built, he was the doctor, the surgeon, the dentist.
Oh, they did it all there?
Oh yeah, so and it
Oh,
was
boy.
Civil War era place. So you know they were doing everything from delivering babies to
Dressing wounds.
to severing limbs to everything in this place, to people dying of infection or overdoses.
That's crazy.
But when I was looking for places last year to go and investigate, we ran across a person in Indiana, and they own a certain location in Hartford City, Indiana, and we've come to find out they have bought 5 more locations
Oh, hell yeah.
in that area, and then they charge $65 per person to come in for 7 or 8 hours and do an investigation. And it's like, wait a second. So what do we get with this? You get the right to do an investigation.
Yeah.
A little greedy there, wouldn't you think, Bucky?
Do you want to hear greedy? We reached out to a place here in Muskegon, and we're not gonna name drop because that's not how we're gonna be right now. We can say it behind closed doors, but they told us for 4 hours of investigating it was gonna. No, how long was it?
I'll tell you.
Okay, yeah,
So
you
it
have
was
the price.
4 hours investigating, limited access for $400 for 4 to 5 people. So they wanted $100 an hour per person.
And I was like, that's not even enough time to like set up and get an investigation like really going.
Yeah.
4 hours here.
And then a lot of them want
worth
you
your
out
time.
by midnight unless you do a
Even if
complete
it was
lock-in.
that, it was. They didn't even tell me what hours it was going to be, and my thought was like, it's going to be during business hours. There's going to be people in the building.
Yeah, I didn't
was
feel
like,
too great about
I'm
it.
not paying $400 to hang out in your building. Sorry.
If they would have said like an overnight was 400, cool. That's better.
Non-negotiable too. They wouldn't negotiate with me.
Yeah, now see, I've ran into places that are $250 a night for up to 12 people, and then each person after that was $35 a piece. But you're there from, 8 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock in the morning. You have full access to the kitchen, full access to the
all the
coffee
amenities.
room and all the amenities, yeah. And I'm like, now that's not a bad deal.
No, not at all. Just like the Asher, they had everything included: snacks, a full case of water in the fridge for us. They were like, you guys can put your stuff in the fridge. Like, you guys can sleep wherever you want. You know, like it was all, everything was so welcoming.
This is your house.
Yeah, but at every place that we've tried to get into that has overpriced us, it's like, I see your guys' stick here. It's not about the history. It's not about the location to you. It's about the money, unfortunately.
And I think, unfortunately, it's like, oh, you have a YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay.
Another one of you guys. And that's the other thing. Do you think that a lot of these places that I don't really think this happens, to be honest, but when investigators like us, smaller channels, or like yourself, or even like those dweebs, or anybody else that's going to watch this later or joins, whatever, if they approach somebody, give them their business card and say, like, we have a YouTube channel, we go live, we talk about places, we do the history on them, we'd like to investigate here. Do you think they actually go and look at their channels before they just write it off? I think they just write them off.
No.
Immediately, just
I think
whatever.
they just write them off.
Yeah, as terrible as it is,
right.
because it's like 90% of the people that go to these places, like you and I and Riley and like all the other channels that we do like literally watch consistently, which is all of our friends that have been on here and ones that are going to be on here, they do great histories. They do amazing portrayals of these places. And it's like, you don't want people to see this beautiful monument that's in this town in this light. Why? Like, it's being shown off so spectacularly.
Yep.
Like everyone that we've had on here, the best part of their episode is the history. Almost every single one of them. You're at the end of it, you're like, damn, that was
so
cool.
good.
Like, I'm so glad I know about that now.
You know, it's really funny to hear you say that because I don't know how many times I've had to look at Mark when we've been out at an investigation and say, okay, can we try the abridged version?
Yeah. Let's
Can,
just.
can we not do like one video of nothing but the history that's an hour long and then do a 45-minute investigation afterwards?
Yeah, that's
by the
where
time
we
I
have
get done?
problems sometimes too, where we get real dry because the history will be like, oh, there's so much here, I can't leave it out. And then we're like
Yeah,
10 minutes
that's-
running of just talking.
Well, Mark, when we started doing our investigations together, he actually he started researching all of the Michigan, because we were running into a lot of Civil War graves, and he
Yeah.
started
There's a lot more than you
researching
think.
all of the Civil War soldiers who mustered out of Michigan, their birth dates, their death dates, whether they died in battle or died in a civilian life afterwards, everything, where they came out of, what unit they were with. I think he's got like 8 or 10 binders full of names of the 22,000 some odd people that just went out of Detroit and the surrounding community that mustered into the Civil War. And it's like, dude, you do not go into full detail about these people. This guy was at Gettysburg. This guy was at Antietam. He didn't die there. He died later on. And that's it. Abridged version. Abridged version. Historians are going to love the history. Paranormal investigators are going to say,
Are gonna want
okay,
lessons.
well, let's scan along the bar here and see when he quits
Very
talking.
true.
Yeah, and it's tough, like, for me, like, making this video right now. The hardest part was like how much do you cut out before you get, like, how soon do you put in something that could be paranormal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree with that. Where it's like, where do we cut the footage back into like the stuff you guys came for? Realistically, at least that's what I think. But being a history buff myself, it's like I'll sit through the history. I don't care. It's fine. I'd rather know what I'm getting into beforehand rather than just go blindly into a place where it's like, there's the
I think-
spirit of a man yelling at me.
I think the reason you need to have some type of history before you watch something paranormal is it's the only way any of it ends up making sense.
Right. I
Mhm.
I
If you
completely
catch a
agree
man's
with that.
voice, well, whose man's voice was it? Well, this guy lived here, so it was probably his.
Yeah.
You
I
have
would
to
think so.
assume, like, whose else's voice would it be?
I mean, I guess you could say spirits are transient and that it could be anybody, but then at that point, like,
In that
what is
Walton house,
anything?
I definitely believe that because, like, it was the biggest house in the town. That's where everyone had their parties. Probably some people's best memories were inside of that house, you know? So when
Oh,
they
yeah.
die, they're probably going to want to go
Yeah.
be there because that was the best time they had when they were alive.
yeah,
You know,
literally.
those dweebs said something a few minutes ago. Imagine having that much money, that many locations, and screwing people over.
Yeah, and that's exactly
the
what's happening.
reason the reason they do that, guys, is because for every 7 or 8 of our little groups, even if we all, like, you know, the guys and you dweebs and Jenna
Yeah.
and me and my team and all got together and we give them their $200 or whatever for all of us to go
Yeah.
investigate. For every little group of people that they say no to, there's always that 1 or 2 big name groups
Yeah.
that's going to come in there and pay them thousands of dollars and give
Yeah.
them international coverage instead of just doing an investigation, maybe put on a YouTube channel that's going to get, you know, 50 or 75 or 100 views. Thousands of people are going to see, you know, these investigations at this asylum or this haunted school, or this haunted bed and breakfast, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And
it
the
might
hardest
be.
part
thought it
is,
was- I always
they
thought
can
it'd be cool
charge
as hell
whatever
to
they
own a
feel
haunted bed or
they want.
breakfast. I'd let
would.
anybody come in.
Right. Well, and it's like, to me too, like, a lot of these places, I think realistically, they're probably looking at it as, if we charge $200 a night for these investigating teams to come in here realistically, and then we fill up our schedule for 4 straight months, you do the math, you're making really good money. You really are making good money. And I know it sounds awful to like break it down like that, but it's a business. It really is. Like they
It is a
have to make
business.
money to restore
It
these
is.
places too.
Yep, you do. And you know, as for you know what Dweeb said just a minute ago about you know having experience at a job, and it's like pulling teeth to get the higher ups to agree for anything to happen. We have gone through that.
It's hard to get them to even talk.
Well, and see, we've gone through that with a couple of different investigations. Happened to go through board meetings. That last big investigation that we all done up in Keeler Township, Michigan, Van Buren County, up near Hartford, Michigan.
Yeah.
They had actually watched a few of our videos. I guess somebody there said, "Hey, there's a team that's right here, not very far from us. They're about a half hour away." They seem to do really good investigations, but we still had to go to a township board meeting, sit through the board meeting, get their approval to go out.
Did you guys have to speak at the board meeting at all?
Yeah,
Really?
sure
Yeah.
did.
Sounds
To
interesting.
a
honestly.
bunch
I mean, it
of
sounds
very
boring,
old
but like,
people, and half of them didn't even
Yeah,
believe in paranormal.
that's where I think
a
it
couple of
sounds
them didn't
boring.
even know what paranormal was. They said, "What's paranormal?" It's ghost hunting.
what? Excuse me? Yeah, that's bonkers. You know what's funny too, though? Like that's, and I like this isn't to be offensive to anybody by any means, but like that's realistically like what's running most of our infrastructure everywhere is people that are, I don't want to say outdated, but like these board members didn't even know what ghost hunting was. And I know a lot of the Senate is like the age is probably like 70 and above. So it's like,
Yeah,
damn,
pretty much.
like this is pretty much where we're living in, which is insane. Like it's fun to be a paranormal investigator. It's expensive. It's worth it. And I definitely think that it's never gonna go away.
I think the problem we have with it is we're both very frugal people. So
We are.
we see anything with multiple zeros and we're like, eh, whoa,
Yeah.
there.
I'll buy a $50
I would
camera,
love.
but I won't.
I
gotta
would
pay
love
almost
to
double
have
digits to get there now.
Yep. I'd love to have a really awesome SLS camera. I would love to have a paranormal periscope. I'd love to have a paranormal music box. You know, the few times
I just want to
that
get
I've
like
been
a
with
4K night vision camera.
Yeah,
that's all
you
I
know,
want is a nice
the few
camera.
investigations I've been on with Tommy, who was supposed to be your guest tonight, I see, but
He poo-pooed his
Yeah.
pants and decided to back out.
Yeah, and he doesn't wash when he pees, so.
That's right. That's fucking right, dude. I forgot about
no,
that.
he uses it as mustache wax. That's
Just
how
slathers
that,
it
that's how
off
that
his
thing
mustache.
keeps that beautiful form and slowly curls up. It's not going to be very long before it actually starts
Oh,
to
wait.
corkscrew.
I did it backwards. It's flat. Okay.
But
You would admit that.
you know, the few investigations I've been on with him, that paranormal music box of his is amazing, and I've
I
had
think it's
I've
sweet.
had awesome contact. Well, we done the Masonic Lodge in Paw Paw, Michigan, last year,
Yeah.
and before it was a Masonic Lodge, it was a a place for the poor to go to get almost like a shelter type deal. And
Yeah.
I had amazing communication with that music box with a girl. You know, I sat right there at the doorway to the main meeting room communicating with this little girl, and she kept playing with the box, making it dink-a-dee-da-dink-a-dink, then stop it, dink-a-dee-da-dink-a-dink.
That's so crazy.
And yeah, I mean, it's. I'd love to have one, but you know, who has $120 to spend on a music box? You know, who's got $1,000 to
they're more
spend
than that,
on
I
an
think.
SLS
I think they're more
camera?
now, yeah. The Ovulus is another good like example too.
$600 or
It's
something.
$600. It's so expensive, and I'm so thankful for your dad. Because holy shit.
That's gonna change our investigations big time because
It's gonna be so
I
cool to
believe
see the
that-
spirit talkers say the same thing as the Ovulus.
that would be crazy. I don't think anyone's ever had that.
That's what I'm waiting for.
All the hobbies I
Ooh,
have.
that would be
is
a
small
good-
paranormal community.
That would be a really good one.
Mhm.
Going off, which we need to get an actual REM pod.
Yeah, I do
don't-
think
But I
that-
do think if once that millimeter that we have goes off as the REM pod, we're gonna freak out because it's never.
It's
done.
yeah, and the fact that we had the temperature gauge go off at the Native American Bear, I literally just sanctioned myself. The Indian Bear Ground video, when that temperature gauge is going off, that was the first time we've ever had it go off anywhere, and we've had it in multiple different climate
I want your
settings.
opinion, Paranormal Papa. I know you watched it. What did you think of our latest video?
Yeah, like editing, like investigating itself, like the whole flow of it, like the B-roll shots, like was it good, or like what could we tune that needs to be better or not better?
I thought the Indian Burial Ground video was amazing. I sat there from beginning to end. I watched it. I loved everything you guys done with it. The only thing that upset me is the fact that I didn't have a way to come and join you.
Right. Hell
I mean,
yeah,
being
I
a
appreciate that, 'cause
historian,
we worked so hard.
being being a historian, being very very close to the native community, and liking to get into burial mounds and native cemeteries and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was wondering what you thought of how we did the history because the guy we wanted to
Did a real good
highlight
job
in that
on it.
investigation was Good John, and all we could find was a newspaper
A very
article
small like excerpt of it.
about him and the history of why the cemetery was there. So we literally just read that because
Yeah.
we couldn't find anything else. And we're like, how do you even make a script of this? It's the only history that's available.
Yeah.
On this.
And
boy,
you really
were those
honestly
names
can't.
hard.
And anybody who does any kind of video, whether it's paranormal or it's history or it's a reaction video, I ran into that, and that's one of the parts that I had to cut out of my reaction video because, number one, I was fully ready to have like 97,000 beeps in there because I knew I was going to get emotional about the whole racial thing. But then when I got into the history, well, he filmed that video in front of a courthouse where a young black man was hanged in 1927 out of the second-story window. And I told my wife, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Steph about, doing the reaction video. And she says, that can't be the last hanging. I said, no. I said, 3 years later in Marion, Indiana, they drug 2 kids out of the jail, held the jailer up against the wall. 1,000 people drug him out and hung him because some little white girl said, oh, well, they touched me. And then the 4 men were up there swinging in the tree. She's out there laughing, going, they didn't really, but that's 2 more of them off the street.
Oh my fuck.
Oh my god.
And they
It's
didn't
so
do
brutal.
anything to her. They didn't do anything to her about it. But that was 1930. In 1930.
Look at the depravity of that little girl too. Like, you wouldn't think that humans are capable of that, but she was capable of that depravity because of the time era of everything that was going on. And you can't tell me that prejudice that was around the time that somebody of that time era dies doesn't hold on to those things in death. I definitely think, like we said earlier, if you're an asshole in life, you're an asshole in death. I think that goes the same for if you are prejudiced, if you are sexist, if you are a pervert, if you're like misogynistic or feminist, like, yeah, I don't think any of those qualities go away. I think they stay, and if not, get worse over time. Who knows?
I have taken a young woman into an investigation before, and she was a very free-spirited kind of person.
Hippie.
And she kept feeling like she was being touched. She kept feeling like her hair was being brushed. She kept feeling like little pins and needles on her neck and stuff like that. Yeah. And I said, listen, instead of, being my shadow, why don't you go and sit in that chair over there?
take the reins, get up there.
and just kind of lean back, kind of, look a little seductive, talk a little seductive, and I'll sit here and I'll film, and we'll see what happens, and I'll just be quiet. And I had a few of the devices set up around her and stuff like that, and the touching and everything actually amplified because she started being seductive and not offset towards them. She started being more open and more seductive towards them, and she started feeling like fingertips rubbing up the inside of her thighs on her jeans and her back,
So
across
what
her
fire trucks
shoulders.
don't do? Stop at red lights.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as she started to really feel uncomfortable, we stopped the experiment right there. She came back to being my shadow again and just walked behind me while I done the filming and everything, or she filmed while I done all the talking. But it was the idea that regardless of what you were in life, you will continue to be that in death.
Yeah.
If you don't make it a conscious effort to change who you are before, you cross the veil.
Yeah.
So,
and think about this too. So bad people who we deem bad people, we put them to death. We kill them. We have places that are specifically for euthanizing human beings that are terrible people.
Yep.
Well, if we're getting all these demon things happening all over the place, I don't know. I guess my thought here, the line of thought is, there's probably more dead spirits at a time that are bad than there are good, because good people live longer. That's my thought on that.
well, and
Not all
once
the
again,
time,
think about
but-
what I said in the beginning. If this is hell, where do those bad spirits go when they die?
Fuck, they're just getting a free ride out quicker.
They stay right here.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go rob a bank. I'm just kidding. Fuck, that's
You're too
such a
skinny
crazy
to rob a
time.
bank.
It obscures everything that I think of too, because it's like everybody always has that very blinded line of sight when it comes to the afterlife and that. But when you start opening your blinders up and seeing what other possibilities there are, it's like, oh shit, dude. Now I really don't
remember
know.
too that our eyes only see a certain amount of the light spectrum.
That's also a super relevant point. God, dude, why is it that the coolest shit, like paranormal and aliens and all of this crazy stuff, is the most obscure shit that we have no fucking answers for? Because it makes me mad, and I'm that type of intellectual person that's answers are, they're you're giving me golden bars when you give me an answer to something that it's I'm looking for. It's
AI,
yes,
just constantly
sick.
trying to solve the problem. We're
Dude,
literally like a
supercomputer.
massive AI, and no one's ever been able to figure out.
I'm not smart like a supercomputer, but it works like one.
It all comes down to I know this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy who did a TV show about aliens.
It's like they daisy chain computers together, and I'm on the end, and it's that one working at half capacity, and it's weird.
I know this guy who went to the pyramids once. Most likely it was not built by humans. No way.
It fucking wasn't. I will die on that hill anywhere, anytime. There's
I
no way.
I knew this guy once that ran into a shapeshifter in northern Indiana, and so he's a professional in cryptids. And how does he know it was a shapeshifter? Did it shapeshift in him? Did he just
Hello, Rick
see
Van
a wild
Winkle
dog
here.
and think, oh,
Yeah, no, it's 100%. When we start playing telephone on that, it's oh.
no, we don't want to play telephone. That's some fucked up stuff right there.
I know. I just don't like.
Is it a big game of telephone?
What my thing is too is when you start telling people, and this is a complete tangent, but when you start telling people what you think you hear before you let them say what they hear in an EVP or an SVOC session or anything that relates to an audio cue that you're supposed to hear with your ears, and be what did you hear? If you tell me what you heard first, that's what I'm gonna hear.
Like, I'm sorry, it's just how that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Yep, you're
every
absolutely right.
single investigation video I've ever seen, and every time we go on an investigation, if me or Riley goes, I heard this, we play it back, and I'm like, I heard it too. And it's not me like faking it. It's like, oh, I legitimately just heard the same thing that you heard. But then you play it to a third party, and they're like, you guys are completely illiterate. That was not 2 syllables.
That's amazing how that works.
So
Next clickbait will be shapeshift.
I was just gonna say,
It's already happening. I've seen it on TikTok like 10 times.
do we believe in doppelgangers, or like legitimately having
The-
like your own
that's
like
what I
person's
wanted-
shadow?
Did you watch Matt's video yet?
No, I haven't got a chance to yet.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you now. because
Yeah,
we didn't get to
just
talk
let me
about
get it because I'll watch
So
it.
we
still.
had Matt Benton from Double Hours Productions on the show on Saturday,
Award
and
winning.
he has this awesome film on the Conjuring House, and he's had multiple accounts of a shape or doppelganger of himself.
Yeah, basically. Like, and I've also had somebody who I've been sent pictures of who looked just like me that lives in town here too, and it's like, I don't know if that's complete coincidences
I
because
seen a
it
picture
is,
of a guy who looked just like me too.
but it's
Like,
weird,
exactly. Like
especially
someone tagged
since,
me in the photo and was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
is this what were you doing here?" And I was
especially
like,
since
"That's
we live
not
in the
me."
same towns as some of these people that we see. But who's to say that we don't take it a step farther and that there are actually our doppelganger beings that live in this world that we just don't know about because who knows? There could be many factors that go into it. Because I mean, I honestly believe that there are things like doppelgangers and shapeshifters out there.
Well, it's actually really funny that you mentioned doppelgangers. When I was a much younger person, like right around y'all's age, I was down in central Indiana, and I went into a bar. I was down there visiting some friends of mine. I figured I'd stop at the bar, get dinner, have a drink before I took off. And somebody walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, I heard you were dead."
What the shit?
And I'm like, "Have we met?"
No, I'm here.
And then they called me Terry.
Oh, it's somebody you didn't even know.
It's like, "Terry, it's me." I'm like, "Dude, my name's Drew."
No, I'm Drew.
It's not Terry.
No, I'm Paranormal Papa.
Yeah,
Now
paranormal
stop,
Papa, what?
stop bucking with me. No, dude, my name is Drew. I live like 4 hours south of here. They're like, "Dude, you look just like a guy I went to school with. I heard he got hit by a train,
Oh,
and
Jesus
you are
Christ.
the spitting image of him."
That's crazy.
And you know, I've actually ran into people, and then ran into the same person in a different location within a 24-hour period. And so, you know,
Really?
I carried on a conversation with that person the day before. Said, "Hey, good to see you again. It was nice meeting you yesterday and stuff." Do we know each other?
Jesus. See, that would trip me out. And I mean, memory is kind of a funky thing sometimes, but like, to me, I don't forget faces very easily. Like, I might forget names, but faces, no. So it's like, huh, that's weird.
I think that goes with like your brain can't even make.
Yeah, you can't
Face
make
you
up
haven't
faces
seen.
you've never seen.
What do you mean, Jenna, that you brought something back from Eden Springs?
We've I can elaborate a little bit on this. So once we left Eden Springs, I honestly think we spoke to you a little bit about this. How we heard noises outside on my porch, and then
I
after we
think
heard
it
the
was
noises on my
mentioned, yeah.
porch, yep, and after we heard the noises on my porch, we opened our spirit talker app the next day, and then it basically alluded to somebody was looking in my windows that morning we got back from Eden Springs. So then we figured that all out, and then we started having like weird noises occasionally, and then we had something fall off our walls. Our wall once while we were live with Creepy Confidential on a live stream. And then since then, there's not been a whole lot of activity, but it seems like as soon as we got back from Eden Springs, like weird stuff did start happening.
I see the 3 times I've been there, I've never had a problem with anything seemingly following me back.
No.
And I never close out my communications. If you guys watch me when I investigate, I never close out my communications.
Yeah.
I never tell you can't follow me home. Never say you can't attach yourself to me, because
Right, yeah.
this is my this is my secret sanctum right here. If they want to come in here and they want to hang out and play and crawl inside my Slimer statue or my little chattering squirrel skeleton up here on the wall,
That shit came alive.
they can
though.
do it.
Ooh. That'd be so
Hey,
cool.
could you seriously imagine just sitting here out of nowhere and just all of a sudden, where's he at?
Where are you at? Oh yeah, Jenna got a voice when she walked outside on the porch to look at a possum that was like, hey. Yeah, if that just turned on in the middle of the night, yeah.
I just had a cat ball go off by itself in my living room yesterday. That's pretty weird.
They are sensitive though, so I mean, even like I feel like a little bit of air, if it just takes it just a little bit, I don't know.
I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, because I like I said, I don't really know if it was like a bad thing we brought home. But when I talked to Deb, she did say that she saw a black shadowy figure that was like loping around in the woods out there. So it's like that is interesting because I hadn't seen that before. But then again, I'm not saying demon and I'm not saying skinwalker. I'm not saying any of that. I think it potentially could be skinwalker, maybe. But my thing would probably have to be it's just like a bear spirit or something weird.
I think it was more or less just a weird circumstantial thing.
It could very much so be circumstantial too.
You have to remember with Eden Springs, before the House of David, before that land was purchased by them, there were Native Americans all through those valleys and those hollers and stuff because of the natural springs. Each spring is high in a different kind of mineral. So they use those things for prayers. They used it for healing. They used it for spiritual cleansing. They used it for everything. And then when that land was bought and he started going out into those woods and exploring that area, the area that they found Danny in when we were doing the
the remote view,
remote viewing with Michelle. Just if you would have walked another 30 or 40 yards back underneath that trestle and out in those woods, that was about the area where he found the unearthed native bones that had just washed down out of the hillside with simple common erosion. And God knows how many hundreds of bodies are buried.
That would make
sense.
That would make sense too if they were seeing like a Native American spirit of some sort out there. Because I put a lot of my money on that these creatures that people see that aren't human looking are most likely Native American type spirits of some sort. Because I mean,
and that's what I believe the elemental is.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even you perfect.
Think about Roy being a white person,
like a colonizer, but then you see this, like, I guess what to me, imagining this like a black spirit figure that has like a human shape. But what did they do when they dressed up in war garb? They made themselves look big. They put the feathers on the Riley nailed it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, dude.
In war mode, like he's going to attack you. Like it's in his nature to literally kill you and probably scalp you.
And it might not be like to us it might seem malicious and demonic, but like it's literally just in his nature.
Yeah.
He's got a spear in his hand, like he's ready to like kill something.
Yeah, no, I actually that actually
because if he doesn't, he's going to die.
That's like my brain.
Yeah,
never thought of that.
That screech that you and Jenna heard is still surprising to me.
It was like, how do I want to say it? Like a gurgly, screechy, like it didn't sound superhuman to me. Like if it was somebody, it might have been somebody that was like
Superman.
No, it sounded like Starscream. But like I guess to my ears, the best way I could think of it was like a gurgly water screech. Like if you were like coming out of underwater, you're like It was weird. It was like super weird.
Had that. Yeah, it had that whole.
Yeah, like it had like a
kind of thing
gurgle
to
sound.
it.
That's why I was like, the fuck did we just hear?
You want to hear a ghost
That was
story?
very interesting investigation. I really would like to get all of us back out there again.
We're actually trying to get in touch with
Jenna
them right now to
and-
try to like get something. Like if you can get in touch with them, we emailed them, but they haven't got back to us for some reason. I know Deb isn't the one that's
I've
doing
actually
stuff
got Debbie's
anymore.
phone number, so
Okay, yeah. If
Oh,
you
she
want to,
directed us to someone else.
yeah, I don't know if she exactly remembers you though because you've never actually met her. But yeah, if you want to like pick a date, what date were we looking in? Like what month? I guess like for me, a cool date would be late September. Late September would be good for me. So if we can get that all like squared away, we'll come get you. We'll go to Eden Springs. I know Jenna's already loving this idea.
well, Jenna, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just
They
the
love her
fact that
there.
most women back in that time period when the House of David was in operation and stuff, I don't know if it's the fact that most of them were just brunette. You've seen very few redheads.
It must
And
be.
you definitely didn't see redheads that ran around in tank tops and stuff like that. Their bodies were covered
tatted up.
completely. You know, tatted up. Yeah, and they're completely fascinated with her. And
Yeah, I mean, all of them had beards and hair that were all the way
Yeah.
down to their nipples.
Yep, and
Not even lying.
I've both times we've been out there together. I've had a ball, you know, just sitting there communicating, especially in the greenhouse.
It's so
there's
ironic
something
too, because it's not the original greenhouse. It's just where the
Yeah.
location the greenhouse was, and it's so active. It's weird. It's cool though.
Yeah, but definitely, you know, maybe those dweebs and me and you three can get together and go out there and do something. I will check into late September, and I just gotta
Yeah,
be
not
careful
even
because I'm
kidding.
actually
I
officiating a wedding over there
contact on the
in
side.
St.
Right.
Joe.
Oh, are you really?
The 29th
Oh, hell yeah.
of September. So we'll see. We'll see
That's
what we
the day
can
after
do.
my birthday.
My new boss is kind of cool about giving me time off for things. So
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're like, here's an advance notice too.
yeah, you know, when I'm giving him 2 and 3 months advance notice, he tends to be a lot. Not to mention, he understands we have lives outside of that place. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Me and Riley are trying to lock down stuff that's closer to home, like within the next couple of months, so we don't have to travel very far and we don't have to, spend so much time out of town and everything and all that.
Yeah,
so we
see,
can
I
live
would
our
love
lives
to
here.
get up there. Yeah, I'd love to get up there where you guys are at. There's 2 cemeteries up there that Mark found last year.
Yeah.
The one that's got the Indian burial grounds in the background, or in the back of the cemetery, that's supposed to be guarded by a shapeshifter, and then the other cemetery is supposed to be guarded by a Revolutionary War soldier. So both places have had a lot of contact, both visual and audio. So I would
Yeah.
love to get up there, but once again, that's going to be a multiple day investigation to do both cemeteries. So
Right.
just a matter
A Friday
of
night
time.
and a Saturday night never hurt.
Nope. Just a matter of them getting the time off work, since they have a little bit more high level job than I have. They have to have somebody cover them,
Yeah.
so, and they're usually the ones that do all the covering. So
Yeah,
we'll get
that
something
sucks
going.
when that happens.
That's a good point, Jenna. Nunica is guarded by a Civil War soldier. That's who says I'm the devil in our
Mr. Bond.
Mr. Bond. That's who in our intro video. That's the spirit who says I'm the devil.
Yeah, at the Nunica Simulfoy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I really want to go on an investigation so bad.
Yeah, same here. Like Pravian.
Yeah, me too. It's been
Pravian.
forever since I've been on one because of their work schedules. So
Yeah. That's the hardest part, man. Like, that's what really crippled us the last couple of years of the podcast and wanting to do the investigation stuff, like we were accumulating our gear and we were trying to do things, but it wasn't working out realistically how we wanted it to, and we weren't getting the like, you know what I mean, we weren't meeting where we wanted to realistically with our schedules until Riley got his new job. My schedule calmed down a little bit. You know, Jenna changed jobs to what she's doing now that's less intensive, so there's actually like more wiggle room for babysitters and things in that nature. So it's been way easier.
I think things will get a lot like cooler once it's like the new year and I can do like days during the week.
Yeah. Yeah, once this new year rolls back
like,
over
go
and I get
do
my
an
paid vacations
investigation.
again, like, yeah, it's gonna be nice because I'll get at least a week paid off. So it's like we can realistically, if we want to take a road trip,
Because I really don't
save.
like the hardest thing for me is I don't like pushing myself driving.
No, I don't like
I don't
driving
want to fall
terribly,
asleep at the
terribly
wheel.
far.
That's like a huge fear of
A
mine.
couple
Well,
of
and
our
you
friends
know,
have done it.
Yeah.
I figured with Riley, the best time to do investigation would be the winter time because you can't take the boat out as much. So
Yeah, that too.
I no joke, I'm not even kidding. If you can't take the boat out, you know what they do? They just fly up to fucking Alaska and go do it up there. They just don't ever fucking stop.
And like the next hardest part between two of us is I literally tell him I love ghost hunting, but I love hunting deer more.
Yeah, and I'm like, and realistically though, I think I like, and this is also like just spitting it out at you. Like I could take me, Jenna, and like somebody else on an investigation.
I've always said you could. I've just always said like, dude, like I don't care if you go on an investigation without me. Like
Just
go
do it and
like,
record
just
it.
Make a good video. and then on the other hand, it's sick. It's because I'm literally
It's like, dude, you're my
spending
half.
my dad's spending tons of money on a property for us
Yeah.
to hunt, and like I can't not go there.
Let's just
Like,
go investigate the dead spirit of the deer you get. That's the good
and you
word.
know, I'm not gonna hold Dad's fishing trips against Riley.
No,
You know,
I'm
I
not.
said,
If
I've
anything, I
said it
wish.
Yeah, I've said it before to you guys. If my dad didn't live 10 hours away, I'd do a lot more fishing with my dad. You know, he's 83 years old. I have a lot more days behind than I do ahead. And I would love to spend that kind
Right.
of time with my old man, you know, out just, I mean, even if we spend 8 hours just drowning worms all day long.
Yeah,
you
who
know,
cares?
just to
We're still
have
together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
where I'm like, we're so in a tangent right now, but like, I can't stand how fucking phones are so big into people's lives now. Because like realistically, I'll go places and I'll be like, we got to put our phones down and let's just have a conversation, man. Like I
That's
hate
what I love
it.
about fishing is I literally can forget about my phone and just literally just be where I am and do what I'm doing.
It sucks because like being a content creator and like doing this, like we have to be on social media and like do things. But realistically, if I had the choice, I would literally just not do it and make somebody else do it. I just don't want to do it.
yeah. Yep, I'm the same way. You know, I sit and think about all the hours I spend in here in the studio, either filming or editing or something. And it's like, you know, I have no right to yell at my daughter because we tell her that she needs to clean the litter box and put the dishes away, and an hour and a half later, it's still not done. You know, okay, so I'm not sitting and playing.
and you're
Roblox
still
8 hours
doing
a
the
day.
editing.
Literally, we put in 6 hours of live interviews last week almost.
Yeah. And it's like that's 6 hours I could spend with Vi, or like we could have gotten like my basement cleaned up, and you know, like just like the little things that like it's realistically fine because this is what I want to do. Like out of everything, like this is a passion, this is a hobby, this is everything I want it to be. But oh boy, when it comes to balance, that
I think all
thin.
of us. I think all of us that do this, they say hindsight's 20/20. You know, after
It
we
really
spent
is.
that 6 hours doing live interviews and stuff like that, we sit and think, you know, oh my God, that's 6 hours I could have bounced my baby on my lap. That's 6 hours I could have bounced my wife on my lap. You know, that's 6 hours I could have been drinking beer. You know, I mean, you know.
Right. No, I completely agree.
I
Or it's
mean-
like I could have went out and went for a hike. You know, I could have realistically went
scope places to go investigate. But
Mm-hmm.
I decided that this is the time that needs to be spent here because realistically, at the end of the day, I want to produce something that I'm proud of, and I am proud of everything that we produce and we put out. Like, it's time and effort that we spend because we love you guys and we love doing it. So
Yeah, we don't plan on
That's
stopping
exactly
anytime
it.
soon, ever. Like, I'm one of those people too. It's hard for me to quit something. It really is.
Yeah,
Like, to
dude.
just give it up. Like,
I was such ass at hockey, and now it's like when I started, I couldn't even like stand up or stop or anything. I had to do circles, and it's like when I started, I told myself I'm gonna play like professional hockey one day, or I'm gonna play in college. I did both of those things, and now it's like I put my mind to I want to be a successful podcaster, and oh, YouTube goes hand in hand with that. Why not want to be successful in both aspects of it and be the best person that I can be on camera? Because hey, you get exactly what you get off camera right here too.
Yep.
So it's me being me, and it's literally the avenue that I've said this multiple times now too, but it's the avenue that I never knew I needed. That I'm so thankful for.
yeah, it's like I feel like we always go into this when we're like really
Deep in the hole.
deep in the hole, like,
fucking deep as
but
shit.
we say it and
Something else you could have been
listen to
doing
our-
for those 6 hours, being deep in the hole.
Yeah, deep in holes.
something.
Very
If you
deep.
go back to the very beginning of our podcast and our lore, like, we always spend time to thank every single one of you that listen to us. Like, you honestly,
We
mean
wouldn't be
so
here
much-
today if it wasn't for
so
you guys.
much to us. Like, we honestly thought no one will ever listen to this.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, there were points where I was like, I don't want to fucking edit today. Like, I just don't want to do it. And then I'd look at how many listens we got on the podcast or how many follows, we got on TikTok or something like that. And I'd be like, that's motivation. Like, I 100%. And the best part is too, like, I can include, Violet in a lot of this stuff outside of the investigating part. But like, if she wants to be a part of it, like, and that's what she wants to do, like, yeah, by all means, come learn how to sit on my computer and edit with me. Or like, does that sound funny? Does that sound cool? It's stuff like that it's those little moments that I enjoy the most.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and see, Dweeves just brought up something else. They need to paint something for the con. I would love to start doing conventions.
Oh, me too. I want to learn how to
I
play
can't
Warhammer.
drive. I don't have a ride. That's why I don't do them. I can make outfits. I do latex work. I actually years ago I belonged to a Star Trek group, and all the local Star Trek groups came to me to do like their full Klingon headpieces and all their
so
prosthetics and. The very first year that my wife and I was together, I bought a big old bottle of liquid latex, and
yeah, I was gonna say the liquid latex is where it's at.
I made a full face prosthesis that had an eyeball hanging out of the socket and big open gashes, and it was so real. My daughter wouldn't even walk into the bathroom until I put it in a bag and stuck it in the. Because I just left it laying by the sink, because that's where she brushed her teeth at, and I wanted her to see that eyeball staring at her from laying on the
Turn the light on. No.
She'd walk in there, that thing be looking right at the door. She'd damn near poop up the wall. It was hilarious.
If like violent diarrhea was a thing, I think that would probably make me violent diarrhea too, though. Like, just whap!
Well, what's really funny is when you go buy her like one of those really awesome. She loves those Kinder Buenos.
Oh, they're actually pretty dang. Violet does too.
Yeah, you get her a bag of those. You put them in the fridge, then put the eyeball on top of the bag. Those things will sit there for 2 months.
That's hilarious. I want to try that now. Oh my god. Do you know how bad I want to like get a thing of candy, like a bowl of candy, and then put something that I know she don't fuck with in the middle of it and be like, right in the middle of the room. How long is it going to take for her to conquer her fear today? As terrible as it sounds, it's not great parenting, but it's like, hey, get her ready for the real world.
Okay, you're talking about the kid. I thought you were talking about the wife. I was starting to say she's got bigger balls than we do. There's nothing she's not afraid of.
Fucked up shit. Like, if you haven't seen fucked up shit, you're probably your day hasn't came yet.
No, Drew, if you want to see some funny shit, you need to capture a full mason jar full of moths, get her in like a bathroom or a small room, and then open the mason jar and then just watch the chaos.
My cat would have a stroke.
Dude, I would laugh so hard though. Like if it happened
I watched
To me, like I'd
I
probably just
watched
be
my
like, oh
cat.
my God, ha, ha.
I watched my cat jump off the kitchen table the other day and smash into the window trying to catch a moth that was flying around outside the window. Could you imagine a jar full of moths inside his domain?
Oh my God, you go insane.
That's like a 16-pound bullet flying across the room. I mean, knocking people off their feet,
Dude.
knocking over lamps.
God.
Grandma's ashes would be all over the place. You know,
Jesus
it
God,
would
you'd
be.
see the tornado just kick up in fur.
That's Ralph.
Dude, that's funny. Honest to God, I almost got shot today without getting shot today at work.
What?
So we have this machine, right? It crushes cardboard, so it makes this like it's almost like you can pull the cardboard apart to make it like packing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got these two really big augers that are just stainless that just come together in teeth and just mash it up, right? Well, I turn it on and I start putting the cardboard in it because I was doing getting all the crap out because it was pissing inside and everything. And I was like, well, box has got to go, whatever. All of a sudden I hear it go conk, and I was like, what was that? It goes conk again, and I was like, huh. I put another piece of cardboard in there. All of a sudden I hear, boing, and this fucking socket, like a 12-inch socket, had fallen in there, went into it, got into the teeth, and was getting like chewed up, but it didn't chew it up good enough, and it like spit it back out at Mach 10. Literally went right past my stomach and put a hole in the wall. It was going so fast.
Jesus
I was like, oh, I
Christ.
almost died. I was like, that was
Yeah,
scary.
That is terrifying.
Michelle
found my
would make
coworkers.
it here. Michelle wouldn't make it here. Since Grandma died, we have seen an influx of butterflies this summer.
Really?
Butterflies were always her thing. It was always butterflies and fairies. And since she
Like,
passed
just
away
in
in
mass
January
now.
and warm weather hit, we have got butterflies everywhere. We were
You know
cooking
what's
out
crazy
Monday
too is
night,
because
and they were
like,
landing
not
on
prevalent
us.
for a
And,
while. Like I heard that there was like a big when the mass migration happened a few years ago. Like a lot of them died off because of like the climate change that was happening there in time. So like that's actually pretty weird. Like not in a bad
Yeah,
way. When I say weird,
believe it
I
or
don't
not,
mean
that 0.3 degrees that the temperature went up. Yeah, it raised havoc on bees. It raised havoc on butterflies.
Yeah, everything.
Especially monarch butterflies.
Yeah, in particular,
And
that's the one that I see a lot here.
Wasn't Michelle just in Japan? I mean, doesn't she know that they've got a shitload of butterflies there?
Dude, you know what else is awesome about Japan though is those like cherry blossom trees. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine just the beauty of seeing them in blossom with butterflies flying around?
Moths are
Beautiful.
scary.
Moths are kind of scary.
That's an inside joke too.
Now,
It is hilarious.
you want to
They're
talk
kinda
about
scary.
funny? My stepson sent a picture to his mom just the other day, and they had a lunar moth in his where
Huge.
he builds modular homes, and
Yeah.
they were walking towards a storeroom to get a certain tool, and there was this lunar moth. I mean, this thing had a wingspan of like 6 inches
They're
when it
huge.
took off.
They're huge.
And yeah, this thing's just sitting there on the wall, slowly moving around, and he's sitting there. He snapped a picture.
Yeah, the
and sent
fucked
to
up
his
part
mom,
is you
said,
can
"Here,
see
show this
every
thing."
inch of it too.
I don't think moths are creepy at all.
When you see it, if you've ever seen a lunar moth in real life,
Yeah, probably.
you
Really
you
big
probably
ones?
honestly have. Yeah,
Really
I
big
was
ones?
gonna say you probably honestly have. But they're to me they're
I
like
don't think moths are that scary.
when I get
I don't-
dive
Like,
bombed.
river. Do you know what a river bug is? Man.
Oh, fuck
are
those things.
fucked.
Mhm.
Those things are freaky. They
No.
look like a wasp grasshopper.
Yeah, no, they.
Mixed with like
No.
a scorpion. They're fucking crazy.
So, I guess this is a funny thing. How do you guys feel about the I don't remember his name, but the guy that goes and gets stung by all the like terrible insects that are supposed to have like the worst.
Tyler D. Peterson.
Yeah.
The guy who faked Bigfoot.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
outside of the freaking of Bigfoot, like, would you
My-
realistically let like a tarantula hawk bite you or some shit like that, or like do any of that stuff? Or I saw a what was it?
My wife just started
it
watching
was
that guy.
something- Oh God, is she all into it too?
Oh yeah, she's like
Almost for a little
right
while. I'm not
there's
gonna lie.
We
that's
almost
supposed
died
to
when
be the most poisonous
monster.
insect in North America. I'm like,
He
and this
says that in
dumbass
every
is
video,
sitting there
though.
letting it chew on him.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
he had
the koala
a
monster almost
monitor
killed him,
lizard
put him to
lock
sleep.
onto his
Yeah,
arm,
right.
and I'm like, my
It's
God.
just fucking insane. I want to see him go get stung by a rockfish.
He's done that.
I mean, don't
Dude, are you
don't
serious? Those things are fucking deadly.
I just watched someone do it
don't
on someone else do it the other
don't
day.
get me wrong.
It's
I'm
insane.
honestly thinking about filling out the application for next year's season of Alone. But you know, that's a situation that I can kind of
Yeah.
control.
Right.
Going out there and surviving for 90 days in Alaska or something like that. Happen to hunt for myself and fend for myself and build my own lodging and stuff. I mean, those are things that I can kind of control. But if I'm going to take
Right, yeah,
a
exactly.
Gila monster and I'm going to say, okay, here we go, and the guy come up there and stick it on my arm and it takes a big bite of me, knowing that each and every fang has got a venom injector in it. So you have to have
the stupidest
the
part is?
anti-venom right there to keep from going into paralysis, having a stroke or a heart
And you know
attack.
what the worst part about that is too? Is literally you're gonna let some deadly ass poison into your veins, and oh my god, it's human error. If that surgeon or whoever is administering that neurotoxin does it wrong, doesn't do enough, or does too much, you're
Yep.
in serious fucking bad stuff.
Yep.
Like,
It's
dude,
not gonna happen,
no.
that's for sure.
And like, as terrible as this is, like, not to like bring down the whole mood, but like, my aunt went in for a routine leg surgery, was put under anesthesia, and had too much administered, and she died. It's not uncommon for shit like that to happen. So like, who's to say that you're out in a setting that's uncontrollable because you're in Guatemala, you're getting stung by a Gila monster in the fucking
Bought this
desert?
and venom off the street.
Literally, I went to the bazaar earlier today, and Hajib had one. That's like the reality that these people are probably like, they're probably taking way more precautionary steps than what I'm saying they are, but no. Like, just no.
I'm sure.
Big no.
Or the people who go out in the Everglades and go look for alligators just for fun so they can take a
Dude.
TikTok of one.
I heard a terrifying story, which this is a great fact for everybody that lives in the Everglades or Florida. Crocodiles will hunt human beings. I listened to the Mr. Ballin podcast recently of an episode of two children that were out in the Everglades, and when the water rose, they got trapped out there because a fucking 16-foot crocodile was hunting them. They had to stay in the trees and get airlifted out because they were getting hunted by a massive crocodile that was trying to eat them the whole time.
Like an American crocodile in the Everglades?
Yeah. Like it swam up and like came into the Everglades. Or I don't know if it was in the
If you
Everglades.
don't
or
know, there is a
somewhere.
difference
It was-
between alligators and crocodiles.
Yeah, no,
crocodiles are way
crocodiles-
more vicious.
Yeah,
and
they will hunt humans. Alligators do not. They're not known to hunt humans, but crocodiles will 100% hunt human beings. That's the crazy part. And they're not that
They sure
different.
will.
They're just giant fucking Godzillas that don't walk on two legs.
that don't give a damn.
Okay, so now that Oppenheimer just came out, we're getting all over the
Oh,
place.
I just
today.
saw Insidious.
Yeah, I started to say
We'll get
we're
to
all
that.
over the spectrum tonight.
Oppenheimer though. So, do you think some of these like weird creatures that people see in these places that nuclear testing have happened and whatnot could be the nuclear fallout changing the manipulation of what these animals look like to us thinking that they're cryptids but they're actually just malformed animals? Or on the vice versa side of that, do you think that in Antarctica, this is also like a hint to one of the episodes we're going to be dropping, do you think that there's these like giant spider-like creatures that we're seeing on Google Earth images, and there's been testaments of people coming forward and saying that there's these massive school bus sized 5-legged like bipedal like spider creatures that walk around? Yeah, octopedal or whatever you call it. So like, do you think that's possible? Like, I guess is the best way to just ask that.
I think there could be dinosaurs trapped underneath the ice in a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
The Oppenheimer movie made me think of radiation, and that's where it got me.
I seen this theory that in the ice in Antarctica, there could be a giant crevice inside of the Earth that preserved the Earth well enough that dinosaurs could have been protected from the meteor
yeah.
and literally have lived down in this crevice inside of the Earth for millions of years. And they like evolutionized because
You're talking about the hidden Earth
crazy,
theory.
dude.
Oh, that is hidden Earth theory, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just like the whole type of thing that like the dinosaurs could make their way down there before it happened, and they were already living
That's
down there.
interesting.
And
I guess
they ended up being.
I guess
protected.
the two questions that I would
It's
ask
wild.
is: do you think Godzilla is possible with nuclear radiation fallout? How Oppenheimer made me
No.
think of that. And then, do you think that hollow Earth theory could be possible, and that's why the Google Earth images that are surfacing on 4chan and Reddit and everything now could be possible that
And
we're seeing
it's
creatures?
just like the Godzilla movie.
It really
bro.
is like
It's
Godzilla.
literally like that. That's how I think it's built.
I would have to see the pictures from Google Earth,
Yeah.
which I will look up when we're over here.
I don't know how
Um,
great all the information is out there now, because it was like a couple weeks ago I saw it on a thread, and it was like a forum on Twitter, and then it was off of 4chan, which we all know 4chan is like either you're getting dicks, you're getting cars ripping people in half, or you're getting like ISIS videos. So like it's a little bit like hit or miss with like
Wow.
the quality of the content, but the thread made its way over to other forums, and a guy came forward and basically said his dad was stationed out in Antarctica in the 90s, and he has proof that have documents from like the base, the Murdaugh base or wherever he was stationed at, like that states he was actually there, and that he was basically hushed to not share these creature or things that he was seeing out there, because apparently they would avoid places altogether. They'd be like, no, we're taking a 5-mile turn here and we're going all the way around this, even though it's like the easiest route is here. But it's like, no, that's where these things travel. So I don't know. Like,
yeah,
it's one of those.
I would have to see those pictures because I mean, yes,
We're gonna do a deep
Dweebs,
dive
you're
into
right. There's with the small percentage of the Earth that we've actually explored, there's no doubt that there's undiscovered critters that's never been seen before. You have to keep in mind that even on the surface of the planet, there are thousands of new species discovered every single year.
There really is.
So,
Every day in the ocean too.
Yeah, in the oceans. I mean,
In the rainforest. That's I
That-
think
that-
less
that's
and
what
less
I'm
now
talking
with
about.
the-
Brand new species of spiders,
unfortunately.
brand new species of frogs, brand new species of lizards, brand new species of apes that are being
Yeah.
discovered that have never been seen before. So a lot of these cryptids that people are running across, or these weird things like in Antarctica. Okay, I really honestly can't say that I believe that there's something as big as a school bus in it.
Right.
Now there could be something half the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, the size of a Prius,
Up here.
but I just can't see some
Massive creature.
12-ton thing walking around down there, and
They say it only
somebody
moves
has
at
not.
night and in snowstorms, is what they were saying. But
They say it
you know what I
only
mean?
moves
Like
what?
that's pretty like.
That's just like Dogman on the 7th day of the 7th month. of the
Yeah,
year.
it was super specific. Where like the travel patterns were only at night, and like when they weren't going to be seen in snowstorms that were so heavy that you can barely see anything. Which I mean, realistically, Antarctica is a polar desert, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
believable to a point. But the point isn't super sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not trying to
Well,
argue
and,
that it's
you know,
real.
that's-
It's
that's-
interesting.
That's basically the same theorem as saying, do you believe the megalodon actually survived?
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
Yeah,
all
kind
these
of.
centuries, these millennia.
I think Megalodon did.
That.
I think there's a few.
But the funny thing is, if you sit and you look at it, people just start spotting these megalodon within the last 25 years.
A lot of them
Okay,
have been
so-
basking sharks because it is.
Basking
a big whale
sharks are
shark.
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
People
like
have
over
said,
30
well, I
feet
seen
long.
a
honestly-
shadow
If you're gonna catch a megalodon, it's gonna be deep water that we aren't probably able to get to because it's the way it's probably built is
It
able
hunts
to
whales.
deep dive.
That's what it's hunting. It's not. Whales are going to be down deep. Megalodon's not going to attack them on the surface.
I mean, if you look at it like at its body structure wise, like it's big. It's built like a torpedo. It's like a submarine. The smaller sharks don't go as deep because I don't know, compression is real, and I would assume that the bigger the shark, the more compression it can take.
Well, yeah. But I mean, you also have to sit and think. Okay, we all know what happened with the sub going down to explore the Titanic here a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about a man-made metal object that one teeny tiny little flaw caused a complete implosion. But yet you see sea life swimming around down here on the bottom of the ocean. So how are these things living down here when we know their bodies aren't tougher than an iron submarine?
Exactly. They're more amorphous and blobby usually.
Yeah.
As for the megalodon, I think of one of the most famous pieces of film footage of a megalodon, and that was the Coast Guard helicopter shooting down at the guy in the water. You see this huge shadow move.
Yeah, you get a good scale of it.
I know they actually came forward and said it was fake.
They said it was fake. That's so sad.
Yeah. It was fake. They actually edited that shadow in there, but because of all the waves and the action and stuff, you couldn't see the editing flaws. And then there was another video that came out not very long ago of a megalodon swimming past an underwater oil rig that had cameras on it. Okay, if you watch that really, really close, that's a scene out of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World.
Yeah, it's straight up out of a movie, if you ask me.
I think this is the best footage.
Oh, is it the drone or the underwater drone footage?
It was literally on Shark Week a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember this video too. Homie was down working doing something completely unrelated to looking for sharks. And then they caught a giant shark. But it's also like, you know how hard it is to catch anything?
Look, we all know that Megalodon doesn't exist today. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that this animal could still be in our oceans.
Press play. Okay, pause there. All right, zoom in. Once more.
Thin.
To the right. I know it's kind of blurry, but look at that. Look at that. That's a fin.
That's so fun.
As you can imagine, we were eager to determine the size of this thing. Haircut, though? We were able to synchronize frames of video, which is a principle originally developed for aerial photography. We could then determine the lengths of the different body parts that we could see, and then off of that, we could get a solid estimate as to the total size of this animal. And our calculations put this creature at over 62 feet. I understand that this is very hard to believe, but only 100 years ago, a megalodon tooth was discovered and accurately carbon dated to be 10,000 years old.
That's interesting.
Some may dispute the carbon dating, but if it's
correct,
is
that just a very,
means megalodon survived long after it was thought to have gone extinct, and it may still be alive today.
So like them finding a new age like carbon dated megalodon tooth is like crazy because it proves that they live way further than.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Does make
it's a very good point
of them still being around so much greater.
It does.
And then
and
catching
you got to look at the fact. You got to look at the fact
like,
too. Extinct species, or species of animals that, or fish that they thought were extinct for thousands of years or hundreds of years or just decades have resurfaced. People have got photos of the Tasmanian wolf running through a field. I mean, you can see a striped canine-looking thing running through a field. Okay, the Tasmanian wolf was the only one that had those stripes on it. The Solenocaf, that was that one was caught. Oh my God, about 108, 110 years ago. They were thought to be extinct for the last 20,000 years. So
that's insane.
I mean, there's every possibility, but I mean, there's a difference between a 6-foot long fish and a 65-foot long shark.
62 foot. Yeah. And I mean, just watching the video, like, I get it's all a perspective thing too, and like in general, like if you're sizing it proportionally, like by downscaling and doing the whole formula that there is in place, that's math and it works. Like that is
sometimes
pretty interesting. Yeah, I would say math sometimes works. It is pretty interesting to me though, where I wonder, like, do we not see many megalodon because there just isn't many of them, or is it the fact that that's just a big ass fucking shark? Are you looking for a Bigfoot video?
I am.
Are you looking for the best one that everybody knows, or the new one that just came out where people are like, bro, have you seen this?
I'm looking for the newest one that everyone's just like...
Joe Rogan had it on his, so if you find Joe Rogan's.
That's where I seen it.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Probably
Is it because there's not many of them, or is it because it's just a big ass shark? I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
There's
big.
Does he have like an actual video of?
Yeah, if you scroll forward, it'll show it. I think.
I know. I just saw an old video of Bigfoot, and this thing is crawling out of a river and crawling up on the shore, and they're filming from across the river in the bushes, and you're watching this thing, and it's coming out of water like this deep, and you see it come up, and the way it shakes just doesn't look human.
Really? Yeah.
All right. Sorry, it's a
walk
short.
off in the woods.
It's an
That's
actual.
weird.
Oh, it's definitely a squatch. Hold on, wait till you get close. But I feel like this is
They have it
100% real.
hyperimposed.
I'm just trying to zoom in. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, he's looking. Got home and I realized that was a squatch. It's an actual.
That was a squatch. Yeah, so like it's hyperimposed because like in the video you can see a dark shadow walking out there, but then when they hyperimpose it, like you can clearly see it's a bipedal humanoid figure walking. And
Yeah.
I don't remember like what they were saying, because I think when they were like perspective wise, like from how far away it was, and like how I want to say it, like they said it would have been like about 8.5, 9 feet tall. But it's just it's videos like that where it's like that's definitely somebody's phone. Somebody edited it to make it more noticeable, but at the same time, like somebody captured that with their phone.
All right.
Would they want to take the time to look for what Bigfoot should look like and then edit all that in? I don't know. I don't think so.
Most replay.
I saw a T-shirt a couple of years ago, and I would love to find it again. It's got a picture of Bigfoot on the front of it, and it says "World's greatest hide and seek champion."
Yeah.
And I'd
Because,
love
he
to
is.
find. He honestly is, because if this thing really exists, and I get into this argument with everybody. I've had this argument with my wife and daughter multiple times because they do not believe in Bigfoot. They have no problem believing in aliens, but they do not believe in Bigfoot. And it's like I told my wife, when this country was first colonized, Europeans came here and started to trade with the Native Americans, and certain European groups were talking with these natives, and they were comparing stories of their wild men of the wood, and they were describing the exact same thing. So if you have 100 countries around the world, and they all have a similar legend or myth of an 8 or 9 foot tall, hair-covered bipedal creature that lives in the mountains or the forests or whatever, and then you meet somebody who has never had any contact with you before, and they have the same thing here, and they're myths and legends. That's kind of telling you there's some factual basis to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's where I base a lot of my facts too. Where it's like if it's multiple sources coming back with the same positives, then yes, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to probably err on the side of yes.
Yeah, multiple sources from different locations all over the world that basically describe the same thing. The only difference might be the color, might be the odor, might be the noise it makes.
Right.
You know, whatever. Here in America, you know, we have the wild men of the wood. We got Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the skunk ape.
Dogman, Muskie.
Well, we're not even going to bring the Dogman into this one yet. And that's the whole reason I'm still trying to set up, and I need to get a hold of the National Park Service and find out how late in the year you can still camp at Manistee.
Yeah.
Because
I'm pretty sure it's open.
I want to do
year.
the Dogman. I want to do the Dogman expedition in Manistee.
I'm pretty sure you can
always...
camp in Manistee National Park whenever you want. If you're staying over a certain amount of days, you have to get like this little pass that you put in your window.
But it's
like
a year-round thing. Like even in the wintertime, like you can go.
Yeah, you can go camp there whenever you want. There's no restrictions on the camping.
You know, I would love to get a film crew out there and actually do a Dogman expedition. He's always spotted, he's always reported between the last week of September and the first week in November every year.
I want to go. That sounds awesome.
So...
Is that how you call him in?
And you know,
Dogman call?
Oh, I don't even know.
I just want to make sure that before you go,
yeah,
Jenna has good life insurance on you, and
you get ripped apart, dog.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're attacked by a 300-pound bipedal wolf man out there,
that sounds terrifying.
Her and the baby are taken care of.
Yep. You gotta have your collaterals.
And it's important that you go to the gym and start doing leg workouts.
Running.
Yeah, I was like
because I'm here to tell you, as the old man that I am, it's not if you whether or not you can outrun the beast. It's whether or not you can outrun the slowest member of your party.
Yep. And little did you know I was
I'm here to tell you right now, I'm going to be like a motherfucking speed racer running to the cars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we will be neck and neck.
I'm pretty quick. I got a triple in softball once.
You get a triple. See, one of us is gonna fuck up though and go the wrong way.
I'm probably tripping.
And we're gonna like hit 3 different ways.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening to me. Is I'm gonna try to look back and then I'm falling.
Dude, I try to go way too fast. Like when my brain is like, it's like every fiber and muscle is just like, and I'm just like locked up. Like, where do I go?
I'm a tripper. That's what I do. I like trip on myself.
I think I'm a locker. Like just like, okay, got it.
Locked up.
Just like the quick like padlock. Like, clunk. Okay, we're good.
But yeah, I think it'd be fun to get out there and.
I do too.
And,
even just to like make a video in the woods with your friends. Like that sounds like fun.
Yeah. You know, and it's really kind of funny too, because Tommy and I have talked in the past, because he's got a couple of professional Bigfoot outfits, and we were talking probably a year ago about going out and trying to film a mini movie kind of deal, like a lost footage Blair Witch kind of thing, but with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And you know, I actually wanted to end it on more of a comedic note. Like, you know, you go out there, have
Squatch falls in love.
Explorers, you've got a professional big game hunter, you've got camera crews, and one by one they start to vanish.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, you have Sasquatch with a ball cap on, driving the Suburban out of the park past the ranger station. Got all these bodies tied to it.
So hey, we used to do this early on in the lore of our podcast. We used to always say, "We got a movie script for you."
We literally would write it like we wouldn't even like write a movie script. We would just off the top of our heads just come up with this like elaborate like scene, and then we would like pretty much like play characters in the scene and be like, "I'm on the ship and the Kraken's taking me. It's going down."
I remember the Bigfoot one specifically.
The Bigfoot one is ridiculous
because like we have like this rock gets thrown
and like the sound effects that we made with our mouths were like on point too. God. It was really good. And it's like I've always wanted to make like a fun short video, or just like I don't want to say like
I have one that pitched to him a million times. We just haven't done it yet.
Exactly, but the movie quality, like production value of it, instead of it just being like shitty, where we're like just like a bunch of people that have no directive when we go out in the woods, and we're just like ha 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 ha.
Let us know if you want to see a What Goes Wrong Tonight movie, like a comedy movie.
Yeah, because
like
I mean
horror, like
we can easily work on like getting like a direction of how we want something to go. That's not the hard part. The hard part is like just getting everything to
do creepypastas in real life.
Oh my god, that would be
like
amazing.
A cool series like that.
That would be so much fun. We make short videos of the scary stories that we find online,
or that we write ourselves.
Or like
I think the story of the self-torment would be really cool.
You know, it would be kind of even more funny, Drew, if we took investigation videos from your past and our past, and then we had somebody dress up as like us and like, you know what I mean? Like I'll play you, and then you play like the ghost, and then we like act out your investigation, and then you like come in and like do ghost activity. So it's like, what the fuck is happening?
It's just you and a
brilliant. And it's literally just like it's like not a mockumentary, but it's good.
And see, I love making people laugh, and I always thought getting into doing some kind of a funny found footage kind of thing would be like really interesting to do, because you know, Blair Witch, people can laugh, they can scoff at that all they want to. But if you sit and you think about it, that movie, that little $500 buddy made film, started a whole brand new genre of films. And a lot of those found footage films, like Cloverfield and stuff like that, have blown
some of the biggest names in movies made films like that.
You've seen that new movie coming out on Friday called Talk to Me?
Dude, yes, actually.
That movie looks insane.
Yeah, that movie Talk to Me does look really cool.
No, I've not seen anything on it.
Yeah, watch the trailer after this. It's really, really, really
I'll
good.
pull it up right now. Everyone needs to
I mean,
this.
okay,
This
we can
video
watch
looks
through.
freaking sick.
Yeah, actually, the trailer is worth a watch right now. It looks like it's gonna be one of the better horror films of this year.
I've just seen Insidious, so I'm like, I love horror.
Insidious is good. I'm not gonna lie, Insidious is really good.
Huge,
I've seen
Jenna don't let me watch horror movies.
Oh, dude, me and Ashley just watch horror movies all the time. All right. Movie looks
Are you
crazy.
in a group chat? I'm doing it again tonight. No, please.
It's fucked up because it's kind of like what we do now.
I just want to forget about it.
Yeah.
Who's up? I'll do it.
How was your opinion, Mario Brown?
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay. Light the candle to open the door. Blow it out to close it. Put your hand on it. Now say. Talk to me.
It's good.
Talk to me.
the hand feel like?
It felt amazing. I could see and feel everything on the other side. So my mom, she was trying to reach out. I'm here. Still been saying stuff.
You mean saying stuff?
What if we opened the door but we didn't shut it?
Oh my god, they followed us.
Go straight for
I
the
like it.
plug.
They're not gonna stop. They're never gonna stop. I like you.
Woo!
That's a hitter, bro. That's gonna be a hitter.
It does look really good. Like it looks like it's gonna have that
Definitely.
good spooky vibe that a lot of horror movies lately haven't. I don't feel like they
Insidious
found their
delivered,
way.
in my opinion.
They
It was
did.
the same
No, it
little
did.
stuff, but
It just
it was good.
you know when you go watch most horror movies nowadays that they're gonna follow a lot of the same paths, and this one seems to break the mold a little bit with it being like that party scene and like live stream type deal. Like I like that they're including it like more into like today's age like horror feel, and I really like that concept too. Honestly, like it's interesting because haunted
Yeah.
objects are real. I don't know about the demonic
I've
side of all of
always
it.
loved. I've always loved good horror, whether
Yeah,
it
agreed.
is psychological horror or it's physical horror. I've never been a fan of gore movies. The wife, she loves gore movies. The more
The
blood
new
and
Texas
guts that's got
Chainsaw
in it,
Massacre is fucked
the
up.
happier she is.
Evil
So,
Dead. Evil Dead is so
see, I don't mind-
gory.
Have you watched Black Summer? That's a gory freaking
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, no, I agree though. Like, I'm not into the gory. Like, I'll watch it, but like, that's not my favorite type of horror type of movie. And to everybody that watches this down the line too, I know I say this a lot, but that's not what ghost hunting or like paranormal activity stuff is. No.
It's
Just
everything you
no.
want it to be.
It's spooky. It's cool.
Oh,
and it
yeah,
gives
that was another-
sinister, awful vibe.
That was another one, found footage film.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yep.
Paranormal Activity. What have they made? 5, 6,
Yeah,
7
6.
Paranormal
The
Activity.
Phoenix Lights also had a movie made that was a found footage film. I think it honestly was just called The Phoenix Lights, and it was also pretty good. I really like that genre of movie though. The found footage to me is really interesting, and like you said earlier, it's definitely like its own genre. It's a cult.
The fourth kind too.
The fourth kind, yeah, it's another great example of like a wall-breaking movie, if you ask me, where they include like real scenes from what happened in the fourth kind, and they also bring it back into the theatrical, like cinematic style of it, which that's groundbreaking. I think horror movies need to like do more tropes like that because it's not like it's not the easiest thing to do. I think horror movies are very hard to pull off good.
Right, because it can seem really cheesy really fast.
Oh, immediately. Like
They
if you're
can-
going for cheesy, yeah.
They can.
Like
They can-
the
and-
Cheddar
and
Goblin.
The
What?
really, the funny thing about horror,
I'll show
or
you.
whether it is whether it's a professional studio making it or it's amateurs like us that are out there out filming a found footage type deal. One little
Right.
tiny slip up can lose everything. So you gotta be really, really careful on your scripting, on
Oh my
on the people you
I'm
have in
sorry.
them, everything.
It really makes me want to become a producer, and more or less than what we are. All right, you have to watch this commercial too. This is from a movie called Mandy, and this is the Cheddar Goblin.
Look, Cheddar Goblin! Cheddar Goblin, did you eat all the macaroni
This is from a horror
cheese?
movie too, by the way.
Nothing's better than cheddar.
Cheddar Goblin! Cheddar Goblin! Cheddar Goblin! Cheddar Goblin!
the kind of movie I want to make.
Cheddar Goblin by Devane has 60% more cheese than the next leading brand. Kids and goblins agree, Cheddar Goblin tastes the best. That's why Cheddar Goblin was rated #1 3 years in a row.
I am
Cheddar
telling you
Goblin
right
by
now, go watch
Devane.
Mandy.
It's Goblin.
That movie's amazing. Okay, so that was a minute of your life you're never getting back. But that's the type of humor that in some
Why
horror
did this wanna
movies,
play
I don't
next?
know why either. What in tarnation?
We're not gonna play that.
Bro, the Cheddar Goblin. He just puked all over those children. That's from a horror movie called Mandy that Nicolas Cage is the leading actor in.
Of course, Nicolas Cage is in that.
And it was actually a very, very good movie. But that's the spoofy humor that's in some of these. That it's like, that's the type of shit I love.
Cheddar Goblins.
The Cheddar Goblins.
Yeah, cheddar.
We broke Papa.
Living History's Mysteries in no way, shape, or form claims any association with what goes bump in the night, or even honestly knowing them very well.
But it's Cheddar Goblin. We love Cheddar. Yeah, no, Mandy is an incredible movie. I'm definitely I'm gonna hype it up because that's just one of the small scenes in it, and it has a little bit to do with the movie, but not a ton. But it's worth a watch. It's good.
Yeah.
Mandy.
Yeah, it's called Mandy. I don't know where you can find it. I think it's on one of those Paraflix or one of those other sites though. I don't know if you can find it on Netflix or the other ones. Maybe on Amazon. I don't really know.
Probably just search it and watch it.
Exactly. It's one of
Probably on
it's
YouTube.
one of those it never made it to film. Oops. And it, you know what I mean? It was not made for streaming either. It was made for specifically the horror fanatics, and it was one of the better ones that was done. It was an indie film basically, but it was a low budget, really well done indie film. And Nicolas Cage was their leading actor, so I wouldn't say it's super low budget.
He'll do anything.
But it was one of his best roles, honestly. It's really, I'm telling you guys,
Wow.
if that tickles
You're
your
gonna say that
what the fuck, watch that movie.
Yeah, Nick Cage, for some reason here lately, I've noticed that the quality of movies that he's appearing in,
yeah,
has slowly dwindled.
Very much so.
It's like they keep raising or lowering the bar for him.
Yeah,
And
James
it's
Cameron said it really high.
The first Ghost Rider, loved it. Second Ghost
Phenomenal. It was
Rider,
great. It was okay.
watched
I
it
didn't hate
once, never watched it again.
I haven't watched it again either. I didn't
You know.
hate it, but I didn't love it.
But I think back
But
to
then-
movies like Con Air.
Knowing.
Con Air.
Yeah, Con Air is good. Knowing. There was another one that he did that was like Knowing that was also really good. But these are serious roles that he's playing. It's not action that people really love.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's to each their own. And I personally if you put me in front of a movie Oppenheimer is a really good example. I heard people love it because it's so well done and it shows who Oppenheimer was and how the bomb wasn't just his doing. It was a culmination of people. But people are it was about war and then it wasn't about war. Guys, it is literally a movie about his life.
And much like we have seen in recent years, though, you must be really, really careful about how well done and how accurate you're telling history, because ultimately somebody out there is going to get an injured or a bruised boo-boo kitty, and they're going to start whining about it.
Oh, that didn't happen that way. Oh, that's just hearsay. Oh,
The Holocaust never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Germany apologized for the Holocaust and everything
People were
several years ago,
getting tried for war crimes by the Geneva Convention and getting sentenced to life in
I
prison.
heard there might be a secret civilization of Nazis somewhere in South America.
I wouldn't even fucking doubt
oh,
it.
they're on the moon.
They aren't smart enough to get to the moon. What are you talking about?
The Nazis had a secret base on the moon in 1943, and they were breeding their super soldiers there. And when the war ended, the ones that didn't get captured and tried got on one of Hitler's captured flying UFOs and went to the moon. That movie's on
This
Netflix.
is
You guys had to see
the same
that.
Reich that was supposed to like usher in the next 5,000 years of total domination. Not only that, they could not perfect the atomic bomb that they had been working on before America was, and they landed on the moon and have a moon base. Come on now,
Well,
you can get me with a better one than that.
But if you look back through my videos, here probably 6 months ago, maybe, I done a video on Hitler's UFO experiments, and there's actually documented American files that they witnessed these circular UFOs flying.
No.
So
fuck, I'm gonna have to go watch this video. I haven't seen this one.
It's all supposed to be reverse technology too, and frankly,
Yeah,
if we can use reverse technology,
we definitely
who's to say, you know?
AI. Yeah,
So,
I mean, the funny thing is, I just had a conversation with the lady last time Jenna was working at the bar out in Montague, and she was like, "Yeah, I was stationed in Germany for a while. I saw, you know, combat overseas, and then she was like, I also was working in the psychology like department of the military." So she was like very familiar with remote viewing and like DARPA and what DARPA's doing with like their like brain signals for pilots and things like that, and like the amount of technology that we don't know about is immense. And that's like not to say like, yeah, there's brilliant minds that live on this planet, and that technology is vastly increased from what it used to be. But realistically, you can't tell me that they did not find a nugget that pushed that project forward because they were at a standstill at some point. I really don't believe that they didn't have some outside foreign object that helped that.
Just look at in the last 100 years how much technology.
Was it was it you that told me that if we didn't advance 10% of the amount that we have in the lifetime that we've seen, like the span of Earth, that we would still be in the Dark Ages? I feel like you might have told me one day in passing conversation, or somebody on our stream told us. I can't remember now, but like that just stuck with me because it's like 10% in everybody's book isn't a whole lot.
Might have been Bart. Bro, honestly.
It may be, which it's a terrible concept to just pull right out of that and be like, yeah, it's true. But he's probably right, honestly. Like if you really break it down, if we did not progress at the rate that we have been and are going now, I really don't think that we would see any type of advancement that we see now. Which, granted, if it was dumbed down, duh.
You've got to look at the fact, too, that for all of the advancements in technology that we have made over the last 50 years or 100 years, there's a lot more out there that even though there's witness testimony to them existing, either by disgruntled ex-workers or security officers or civilians, or whatever the case may be, the Philadelphia, or not the Philadelphia experiment, the what was that damn
not the Manhattan
ship.
Project. The one that went missing and like there was like some type of like fission incident and like everybody on board disappeared.
No, I'm talking about
the one you're thinking
where
of?
they were trying the cloaking device on it, and
that is what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
it actually vanished, and people on other ships
and reappeared.
Seen it vanish. It reappeared like 100 some odd miles away.
Yeah,
where
and it was everybody was gone, right?
Well, no, when it came back into the harbor, people were fused through the bulkheads. People's arms are stuck in a wall and they're still alive. People are cut in half. You know,
Yeah, I do remember that.
but
Yeah,
this has got witnesses.
I've never heard of that.
It wasn't the Enterprise. It was some funky name. It was like not the. It wasn't the Manhattan Project because that's
Manhattan
the bomb.
Project.
But it had. Was it part of the Manhattan Project? It might have been. The Philadelphia
experiment.
Yeah, no, dude, we have to cover this. I completely forgot that was the thing. Yeah, what he just said is exactly right. The U.S. government had commissioned a branch of their military and like technology unit to create a cloaking device for a ship, like their Navy, basically. And when they I don't know what it was or how they did it, but they fired it up, and like he said, they disappeared, and then that ship reappeared like 100 years later because they just lost track of it for that amount of time.
It reappeared like 120 miles away for like a minute, and then reappeared back in its original position again. But when they boarded the ship, men were fused into the bulkheads.
Yeah, so they teleported basically, is what they said.
It teleported, but it had some kind of
it was like an
whatever on the material the ship was made out of, and
So it was a attempt
yeah. I vaguely remember two distinct stories
fall
of this
into
where
the
it was
wall,
wrong.
you just had a face.
So this was probably alien technology that they were trying to
So,
work out.
I mean,
most likely.
You know, let's go on a more well-known one. Let's talk about the Roswell thing. The military comes in, they say, "Oh, it's a crashed foreign object that we can't identify. Let's pick up all the pieces. Let's pick these bodies. Oh, those aren't really bodies. Those were just mannequins that we had on board this weather balloon."
But there's first-hand accounts that the aluminum foil material was so malleable that you could move it around and crumple it up, but it would always go back to being completely like flat and take its shape back. We don't have stuff like that.
I've never
There were
seen
civilians on site, and there were law enforcement officers on site that all agreed to that. That this was no balloon, this was a ship. There were 3 bodies found. 2 were dead, 1 was still barely alive. You know, and then 2 days later, the military says, "Oh, that was a weather balloon that ruptured."
And who's got money? The government. The government came and paid them off and said, "Hey, there, you ain't gonna say nothing to nobody."
Well, it's not only that, but I mean, this is actually the very first time people started hearing about the Men in Black. You know, they would show up at people's houses, and they would basically threaten their lives. If you talk about this stuff. Yep.
Like
I did a video on those too, like a year ago. When I was talking about Mothman about a year ago, I had a thing on the Men in Black. And the fact that they were seen all around Point Pleasant, West Virginia, most places where Indrid Coal was seen in that area. You had Men in Black that appeared at people's houses and just basically said, "Keep your mouth shut. You saw nothing. You heard nothing. You nope. Bad things will happen to you and your family if you talk about this." So, you know, what are people supposed to believe? You know, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, the government still said that aliens did not exist. There was no evidence of them. 2 years ago, they released 5,000 pages of government sworn documents.
Yeah, like a ton
videos
of stuff.
and film footage, and
yeah,
we've
dove so far into that.
We have a whole series.
So I mean, that's why regardless of how much pride and everything I have in America, I still feel like the American people are a great big huge woods floor in early April. We're called mushrooms. We're fed shit and kept in the dark. And
oh God, yes.
Great analogy.
The mushroom population that is America. We really don't know anything though. I don't even realistically think that there is anybody in the government that actually knows everything. I think there's like branches that know more than other branches, but do you think that realistically there's one person on this earth that just knows everything that's a government is hiding? No.
Which is you actually bring up a good point. what are your views on the presidential book?
That's such a big question because he's not such an influential character that people think he is. He's more of a figurehead than he is a delegate of any sorts. So
Well, I know, but I mean,
realistically,
our current president, he'd be looking at that thing going, Roswell.
But that's what I'm getting into too. Is like, what do you
Then he'll
think?
come
Like,
over
these
here
are
and he'll
normal
say-
people, basically. I guess they're not normal people, but like they get this book and then they're like, you can't tell anybody about it. But like to me and you, and I would say generally the massive population of people that are curious about it, and if this person has no idea he's walking into what he's going to learn, and he gets handed the book of all the secrets, yeah, I might have a few slip here or there to my wife, kids, and then they tell somebody else, and then that chain goes on and on and on. So like, is it real? Is it not real? I have such a hard time flip-flopping on that. Like, is the stuff in it real? I mean. Or
That's
like what
why
we
we do
think
this,
it is.
bro. That's
I
why we
know.
do this.
Good question.
Because like they always say, like when the president gets sworn in and he goes in the Oval Office and they do their inauguration bullshit, and then doors closed, we don't see what happens behind the closed doors. Do you think somebody realistically from like each branch of like the highest level of clearance from whatever bullshit they're from, like CIA, like Homeland Security, all that, sits down with them one by one and goes, "Here's what we have for you. Here's the crazy stuff. All right, process that. All right, on to the next one. So Area 51, we are doing PSYOPs, and we are currently working with this. And then, actually in Antarctica, we have a base that is underneath the ice there in the permafrost where we are actually cloning Marines right now. And you know what I mean? Like the list could go on infinitely, and we don't really know. But I like to think that, like, you get privy to some pretty fucking cool shit when you become president. Like, that's my thought.
Do you know that 1 hour after you become president, if you ever got kidnapped, if somebody ever ran your car off the road, if somebody ever invaded Camp David while you were there, single-handedly they could destroy the world with one slip of paper?
One slip of paper.
Yep.
Just do it.
Yep, because the president is given his own personal launch codes to the nuclear football.
Damn. That's so crazy they call it a football, too.
I know. Why they don't call it the big boom case? Why they don't call it the big bang? I mean,
Literally,
something.
you call it a boomstick.
I mean, it's
Put
a
it in like a
briefcase.
stick form. America was founded on carrying a big stick. It's a fucking boomstick.
You know, you have a briefcase. You open it up. You go tick, 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 bloop. I mean, you punch in a series.
It's that easy to destroy everything.
Of 4 or 5 numbers. Well, what you need to do is you have to have the codes to certain destinations.
Yeah.
So
well,
after you enter your launch codes, and you have to put in like 001 for Kandahar province in the Persian Gulf, and 121 for Tokyo or whatever.
Nuclear submarines have 5 nuclear warheads on board. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
that easy to blow up everything. But speaking of blowing up everything, I think almost 3 hours is a good time to blow up this stream and get off.
I'm probably thinking so too. I made pizza for the family tonight, and I'm really aching to have some of the pizza that I made today. So,
I'm so sorry we took away from you, Duno. But I appreciate you jumping in with us so much.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, we were just
gonna
talk one time alone. But it's always nice to get Paranormal Papa's point of view on everything. And we went down some of the craziest rabbit holes we've gone down in a while. So.
Oh, yeah. You can always count on some very interesting rabbit holes when Papa walks in.
Oh, easily. Yep, and cheddar goblins. So on that
note, I've got to find that video and send it to my buddy Tildar.
Yeah, just type in Cheddar Goblin on YouTube, and it's like it'll say Cheddar Goblin commercial, and that's the one you want. It's 50 seconds long, 56 or whatever, but that's it. That's the one you want.
It's great.
And with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Bump in the night.
Love you guys.
Take
Thank
care,
you, Papa.
y'all.